Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hello people and welcome to Footy Judgmo. No emergencies for Arsenal today. Emergencies for Newcastle, smashed 4-0 by Manchester City. Omar Marmoush, hat-trick, absolutely brilliant. Chelsea are 6, which is kind of crazy to be honest. To think about it, I'm going to put Phillip on the top, to be honest. Big up Phillip, Toon Tactics, for joining us. Omar Marmoush, absolutely stars today. Man City are back, of course. I'm going to be in the middle now. Sorry. Dio's going to be joining us. And Arsenal to kickstart their run-in. Arsenal to kickstart their run-in. A lot of negative voices about Arsenal. A lot of negative voices that don't believe anything about... you don't believe that Arsenal can try to win this Premier League. And I haven't actually... I'm sorry. I'm just going to say something before we start. Big up Vator, big up Ash. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I haven't met Phillip for a bit. I'm glad you're here, Phillip. Thank you so much for joining. When I invited you, I literally thought Newcastle would do something, so people don't think that I invited Phillip just because Newcastle lost. I actually thought Newcastle would do something today, but you didn't because of Eddie Howe's tactics today. Andrew, I missed you, my man, to be honest.
Mo invited me on before the Brighton game, just to let people know. He didn't.
I literally invited Winter Surfer before the Brighton game.
I've got the WhatsApp. I can prove it in case anyone's
I invited Vator before the game. People can vouch for that. The only one that I invited after, no, actually I invited even Ash before the Arsenal game when it was 0-0. But Kilkster is joining us. Where do we start? Guys, over 200 people in the house, we're just starting, so hit that like button. I'm actually want to start a little bit with Man City and Newcastle. I want to start with that game. I want to start with Omar Marmoush. I want to start with Eddie Howe's tactics. I want to hear what Phillip has to say first about playing a high line, trying to press City at the Etihad. Different than what he did at the Emirates, which he won the game at the Emirates by playing like better, playing more composed. Without Botman, I don't know where Botman was today. I actually meant to text you to tell you why his Botman is not there. Is he suspended or something? I don't know.
No, it's injured. It's going to come back next week.
Oh, okay. So, from your point of view, did Eddie Howe fuck up today?
Yes. First, Man City played really, really well. Marmoush and Haaland, their interchange between themselves, how they run between the lines, and Haaland didn't mind having all the attention to himself from our defenders because Marmoush went and was being very devastating in other areas. Also, hats off to City's keeper Ederson with an incredible assist. For Newcastle, I think it felt like we were what's the phrase? Deer caught in headlights. We went in for a mid block, and I appreciate you said it was a high press. It was supposed to be something Mo.
Similar to this, yes.
So yeah, so it's either a mid. It was meant to be a high press, possibly. Heidi House said towards the end, or it was meant to be a low block. We were somewhere caught in between that, because City aren't the only team that have done this to us in terms of getting the ball over the top. Bournemouth have done it. Fulham have done it. The list just goes on. If you want to beat Newcastle, ball over the top, typically over the flanks. It's possibly why we're so good against Arsenal, for instance, who don't typically play beyond the lines. So because of that, our defense was very worried about the ball over the top. It was stretched, and in order to combat that, you need midfielders that are going to run back and track their markers. Bruno didn't track the runs of Marmoush. Tonali didn't do that either, and obviously the first goal was an error from Trippier in the first place, which knocked us off balance. And I've said it before: Newcastle are horrible, typical sometimes when they're kind of chasing games as well. So that kind of split us apart a little bit, and it just didn't look good. And you've got players that are frustrated. They're not pressing, not because I don't think they are down. They're like saving themselves for the League Cup final, which I've been seeing a lot on. I think they just don't know. They didn't know when to press and when to hold off. And City, as Hal said, are like, despite what people say, are still very, 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 very good on the ball. And when you don't know when to press, you don't know when to set things off, you start making those mistakes. And so, yeah, look, credit to City. They were very, very clinical. And within 14 minutes, there's a 14-minute period when they scored those 3 goals, the game was over.
Yeah, Vator, Kelk, how you all doing? You happy, Vator? I saw you fighting for your life somehow, you two, on the football terrace. For some whatever reason, I opened the football terrace. I don't know if any of you guys watched. And I'm opening the football terrace, and Vator and Kelk are fighting for their life against Hussam and Thier. What was that conversation about?
There's always a conversation beyond the game, right? You're going to have Hussam, Liverpool fan. You're going to have Thier, United fan. When there's the winning that City has, and then there's a story beyond it. So we had to address next season, us already have won the league and us being favorites next season. And we were just fighting against that narrative because obviously we're dealing with this season, and we're also dealing with our club that made no signings in the summer other than 30 million. And yes, they did things in January, but the assumption that we're just going to automatically get it right and we're going to be favorites next season is what I pushed back on. And that was a conversation. But the day should have just been all about what we did. And we played against Newcastle, which are a very dangerous team. They've been dangerous all season. We played against a team that's caused problems for other clubs. And we played in the style that many of us, Kels will admit this, we've been asking for, we've been looking for. And it's a matter of getting some bodies back. It's a matter of Pep trusting in certain players. And it's also, here's where I'm not overly critical of Eddie Howe as well, because I think his approach with regards to looking to press us or condense that pitch made a lot of sense if it was Ortega in net. When it's Ederson, I think that's where the switch up happened, and we caught you off guard, which with that first goal, which was the over the top, where we took an opportunity, and then it was like, ooh, maybe this game plan on how we wanted this pitch to be kind of carved up, we got to reswitch. So I think they were caught in two minds. But Ederson, 3 assists this season, guys.
Same as Odegaard.
Ooh, you didn't have to do that, Kels. But at the same time, he's now
so shameless. It's fucking what the fuck?
Just saying.
He's so shameless.
Sorry.
He's so shameless.
I did.
And at the same time, Ederson he solely holds the record for most assists from a keeper. And everybody wants to look at me with my, obviously my CIA, my intelligent agendas. But the reason why I've always wanted Ederson as my number one is because of that distribution, because it's going to cause teams to have to pick their poison. And I think Ederson was brilliant today, and he would have been brilliant. He would have been brilliant in that Real Madrid game, except for the late errors, because he had some great shot stops. But this game was great. This game was great in terms of our defense and our midfield. And when we say that's what's been missing, not that.
Yeah, Nico Gonzalez actually. for whatever reason today, Nico Gonzalez looked like he has been playing with this team for like a year. Like he was so easy in the passing and so easy in the movement. I'm like, where does this guy come from?
But Mo, this is it though. When some of my fan base are like, just sign somebody, just sign. No, sometimes it's not about just getting another body. It's about getting someone that has gone through the philosophy in the academy and the approach. It was almost like plug and play. And
right now.
our club took its time to get the right player, the right mix, I think the right age. And now it's just a matter of, you know what? Now let's use him sparingly because he obviously can't play Rodri minutes for the remainder of the game. But his addition was tremendous. Sorry, Kels.
Pep called him Mini Rodri.
Did he?
He actually did.
Yeah.
So shameless. What?
That is a really
why
high
are you so
praise,
serious, Ash? Why is Andrew smiling? Like Dio
Because
smiling?
I'm watching a very nice serious game. That's why. But
okay. What game are you watching? Is it Bayern Leverkusen and Bayern Munich?
Yeah.
Oh, is it still 0-0? I had kind of.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Leverkusen need to win this game.
Let me do a couple of these super chats.
That's the only reason I ignored that dig by Calc, because she picked Odegaard when Foden and De Bruyne don't have 3 assists. So I was like,
the reason I say that is because Odegaard is constantly compared to Kevin De Bruyne, and
they have.
But Kevin De Bruyne is not Kevin De Bruyne this season.
Stop comparing De Bruyne to bums like that.
They do have Champions Leagues and Premier League, so I just.
Also, De Bruyne half the season last year had 18 assists in half a season.
Hold on. This has nothing to do
with the game.
This season they're garbage. They're 4P. Their treble did nothing for them this season. This season they're garbage. That's it.
This is like incredible shamelessness. This is why Arsenal fans get the hate that you get. Like,
please! He calls out Arsenal out of nowhere.
Let it go. Let it go. So let it go.
Arsenal Twitter,
we did, but I just. When an Arsenal fan responds with banter back,
you didn't let it go, my brother.
Letting it go.
He did banter you, but you can't banter
back. No,
Dio,
you let it go. Dio, you let it go.
Oh God, Dio's here. Oh no.
Dio, respond to Mo said something.
One at a time, please.
He respond to Mo said something to him.
5-1 still lives in.
I didn't say anything.
He said Ash wasn't smiling. I'm saying Ash was not speaking. He didn't say a word about whatever it is that anybody said about Arsenal until Mo said you're not smiling, and he said that's why I even chose to ignore that. He even said he chose to ignore it, which means we both heard it, but we chose to ignore it.
Saying it means you're not ignoring it, though, isn't it? Like you're saying it, but you're not really ignoring it.
And the funny thing is, Dio actually truly ignored it. Ash tried to play
he didn't care.
Then he threw out KDB. And
I would have ignored it if Mo didn't ask me to speak at that time. Now that I'm speaking,
can I have a shameless thing for my Egyptian guy? My Egyptian guy, it took him 1 month in the Premier League to have a hat trick. Saka has been playing for years and he has never had a hat trick in the Premier League. Just saying it. I'm just saying it here. I'm being shameless.
I just hope.
I'm sorry. I'm being so shameless now. As you know, I am all about Marmoush props and Salah props.
Absolutely, and that makes Marmoush better than
a hat trick.
I never see Ash. I have never said that. Marmoush is not. I've never said that.
So what was the point? What was the point of your? He scored a hat trick before Saka. What is the point?
He's getting the numbers. He's getting the numbers.
Yeah. So what does that mean in comparison to Saka? What does that mean in comparison to Saka?
Getting the numbers.
Habibi Mo, you know deep inside you want to say Marmoush is better, but you're afraid you'll get
Marmoush is not better than Marmoush is not better than Saka in any level.
But he scored a hat trick today.
Hold on.
Then?
Okay, hold on.
He scored a hat trick today.
Is Odegaard better than KDB?
No, he's not.
Yeah, he has more assists than KDB, so he must be better. Than him.
He's better than. See that?
I know, but you brought up the hat trick. You brought up the hat trick, though. You said Marmoush took a month to get a hat trick.
But you know what I said? I said what? See, before I said it, I said it's shameless. I said it's a shameless plug. I said it's a shameless. So you know I'm joking. You know I'm poking, and you know how it works.
I actually think KDB is the best midfielder of all time in the Premier League, by the way.
No, respect Frank Lampard, please. Respect Frank Lampard.
I think it's better than Lampard.
Respect Frank Lampard. Respect.
It's between him and Lampard, but I think
Lampard is up there.
Light edge over Lampard.
Lampard is up there. You have to give it to KDB. Sorry, I'm not even going to play this game with you guys. Like Lampard is up there. I rate him as a midfielder. But man, what Kevin De Bruyne has done in this league, bruh.
Lampard has done it. See what Kevin De Bruyne, Lampard has done it. It's literally there. Kevin De Bruyne has done this league.
Consistency
Lampard
again.
has done it.
Consistency apart from this season.
It's the most consistent midfielder in the history of the Premier League.
Even in his season where he played half the season last season that KDB played, you saw the numbers he put up.
For me, if you're asking me to choose, I would choose Frank Lampard. Still.
You're not having a numbers argument against Lampard, are you? You're not having a numbers argument against Lampard. We're not doing that, are we? We're not doing a numbers argument against Lampard.
This is off to a great start, this freaking stream. We aren't talking about the games. Philip started with the actual analysis, and then we let me do the super chats. Darius, big up my guy. You big up Judge Mo. Shout out from Katy, Texas. Guys, Katy is only 50 miles away from where I live. I have a lot of friends in Katy. I went to Katy a lot. It's actually basically something like London and Fulham, like just right next to you, between Soho and Stamford Bridge. Something like this.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, Katy's 15 miles from where I am. You know that.
50 miles is the whole of London and Birmingham together. The whole of UK.
Isn't it?
It's a tiny island. Don't do that. Do you know how long you have to drive to Katy from your place? And from my
place, it took me 25 minutes. You know, I live on I-10. You know that, right?
Okay,
I-10,
fine.
so it's 15 minutes. For me to Katy, it's literally 20 minutes.
Yeah, I live in Austin.
Yeah, he lives in Austin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But big up my guy Darius all the way from Katy, Texas. Like the video, please. Chelsea are ass. We'll talk about Chelsea being 6 as well. That's why Andrew's here.
Yeah.
Chelsea are 6, by the way. 6.
Almost
ahead of Chelsea, bro.
I gotta tell you something. You're to refer to Omar Marmoush as Egyptian Canadian. All right, he's got dual citizenship.
Is he?
Yes.
I never knew this.
Mm-hmm.
I knew he lived in Canada for 6 years.
You've got the wrong dual citizenship, Mo. You should actually be Egyptian Canadian as well, but you chose to go to the US. So.
Bro, I'm a proud American.
He wants his
I know you are.
Proud American, bro. I'm a proud American. I'm a proud American.
Do the song.
LB saying Kozanov, he was immense today, by the way. Nico Gonzalez was fantastic. Marmoush, they were all brilliant. LB, absolutely. Absolutely, they were all brilliant. Nafisa saying, Mo, we are always my favorite dictatorship. Thank you, Nafisa, for supporting the channel. And you are my favorite goner. Always bring joy to the chat and always banter. Thank you, Nafisa. Appreciate you so much, Nafisa.
Wait, Gaio and Ash are on the panel, and you just called out your favorite.
That's his favorite. I don't want to.
No, I agree with him.
I don't want to be
his
his favorite.
Nafisa's amazing.
I don't look. Vator, I don't know what kind of favorites you're looking for anywhere, but I don't want to be most favorite. Nafisa, you can take that position any day. It's Nafisa's to own. I'm just here to represent Arsenal. What do you want? Or do you want to be his favorite? City fan. Yeah, I think Vator wants that.
If he likes my takes, sure.
I got that one locked up.
Yeah, I got that, but I take no offense if someone considers me their favorite. What's wrong?
Yeah, well, Kelke, but fine.
Yeah,
sorry. My fellow American, I'm sorry.
Martin is excited in the chat right now.
baby Rodri, Marmoush, Gundogan, Khuzanov, Haaland, Savinho, and Rico. Magnificent. What character from Rico, by the way. He played well today, Rico Lewis, actually. But to be honest, I want to, the shout-outs today.
Ed Ederson.
The shout-outs today for City today, to be honest, is in my opinion, if I'm going to pick 2 players, I'm going to pick Nico Gonzalez and Marmoush today, to be honest. Tough game. Newcastle are so physical as a team. Dan Burn is physical. Fabian Schär is physical. Tonali and not today. But again, Marmoush today was floating on the pitch. And, he was floating on the pitch. But appreciate you, Martin. Big up the Mancunian way. Thank you so much. Jamal is saying same as Odi, but more than Foden. That is what people are saying. Yes.
Yeah, Foden's been stinky this year, and I've been saying it since I came on YouTube. So
he literally
don't
was
throw that
average.
in my face.
He was average today, just average. It's average today.
Yeah, today didn't really called upon it for him to actually.
But he wasn't I have to say something. Foden wasn't bad today. He was just another guy on the pitch. You know what I mean? Just another player on the pitch.
Yeah, I believe he saw where the advantages were on the pitch. I don't think he needed to really impose himself based off of where we were trying to attack, because it was very central, and it was a commitment to go through Haaland and Marmoush. And I think what was interesting, which I hope is a consistency from us, is if 2 central defenders are going to be focused on Haaland, then please recognize the opportunity. Marmoush is going to be threatening. So that's where the adjustment was today. Also, I think we need to see more, but the early criticism from some that have criticized Pep and the City system, yes, Yumo, the belief that Marmoush can't play in the Pep system, that he was the wrong signing, that he picked the wrong place to go to.
Okay.
Today, and I think future days.
Today proves my point, not your point.
Today proves what?
It proves my point that Pep had to change to get the best out of him, not the other way around.
Pep's always going to change. No, but sorry, Kel. One second. Pep has always shown to change. Pep has always adapted, because that same criticism of Haaland not fitting in the City system, Pep changed and made it work. Pep now has Marmoush and will change to make it work and get the best out of him. And I heard your show earlier with regards to criticism. Sterling never really rated him, but look at what Pep was able to do out of a Sterling. So he'll develop the system to get the best out of the player, and I think Marmoush is going to be the latest addition.
And that's why me and you, when we spoke about it, Ankelk as well, and I think even I'm not sure if there was someone else with us here, and I said that the only good thing about the signing for me is that he's going to be playing under the best coach in the world, under Pep Guardiola, who made superstars like Bernardo Silva. He made Sane a superstar. He made Sterling a superstar. He made everyone. So that is for me as an Egyptian, I'm happy for Marmoush that he joined City, because I know that Pep Guardiola, is he going to, like I said that to Nobbins, will Pep Guardiola adapt to him? And it looks like he will. He will get the best out of him. But it's one game only. I don't want to jump the gun, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't want to jump the gun. I liked Foden today. I thought he did his job very well. That midfield worked today. And what have I been whining about constantly? Our midfield being absolute garbage. And it worked really well. I thought Gundogan was playing really nicely. Like, Nico could be the legs. Gundogan didn't have to try to track back. Nico did all that work. And then I thought Gundogan and Foden, I thought they worked well together today, and they got the ball where they needed to get the ball, and Savio was fantastic.
Yeah, I think in this system, people have to judge Foden a little bit differently. If they're just looking at him for goals and assists, in this system it's different. And Hal talked about it in terms of how even when we try to press, because of the way you move the ball and the way you're press resistant, it's going to be the small things you kind of have to look at what Foden does. Does he keep the ball moving? Does he retain it? Does it dictate a little? When I say dictate the play, I'm not talking about Pirlo-esque, like long balls and stuff like that. Does he just keep the ball moving? If he does that, he's done his job. The rest of it was the running in behind by Marmoush, Haaland, and all the rest of it, and Savino as well, who was excellent. So yeah, people start saying, "Oh, he's ghosting games." I don't think they're watching. They're not understanding the difference in the play that Guardiola is doing, which he actually talked about. He said that the way football is now going is what Newcastle, Brighton, Liverpool, Bournemouth are playing, and that's what he's doing today.
Facts.
Yeah,
I thought it worked.
It is almost like CDM in a Pep system is the hardest route to play in football. In it, the club needed to get the right player. 100%. You're absolutely spot on.
We have been missing that so bad. It's been a wide open canyon all season, and people are just running through it. And to have a body in there was just great.
Real Madrid now. We'll see what happens against Real Madrid, to be honest with you guys.
I'm nervous about that. I think he's going to start all the old guys again, and I don't think it works anymore. I think you have to go with these younger players.
This is the perfect system to play against Real Madrid. Try to go long.
They'll be wide open too.
Be compact. Don't give Real Madrid chances. Don't be expensive, and see. I love both KDB and Lampard. Both played for City. Bigger project for this. Pratik is saying Ederson has the same GA as Odegaard in the Premier League this season.
Not just me saying it.
We're going to speak about Arsenal. By the way, there is tons of criticism about Odegaard. We're going to come to this. We're going to come to this Arsenal talk. Bro, people are absolutely slaughtering Odegaard on social media, and I think it's wrong because it's Arteta's fault that he changed him to be a midfielder, and he's not as close to the goal. It's as simple as that. Big up Mo coming to Houston in April. I will be back to Houston, inshallah, in April after, within Ramadan, I'll be in Houston. But listen, I want to speak a little bit about Newcastle and this top 4 race between City, Newcastle, and Chelsea. We know that City have the upper hand, right?
And Bournemouth.
Top 5, you mean, or top 4?
Top 5. Top 5. Yeah, we know that they have.
Wait, why do we have the upper hand?
Here we go. It comes a fraudulent. He's going to say, well,
no, I'm asking for clarity. I'm asking for clarity. What's the upper hand that you want to say
You
that
just
we have.
bought 5 players during the transfer window. You
have
spent
Pep
more money than
Guardiola.
anybody else. You got Pep Guardiola.
Okay.
Like,
I
I
thought that
think
was
that's what he
obvious,
means.
you know.
I
I
think
thought
that's
that
what
was
he
obvious,
means.
you know. Yeah.
We didn't
I
buy
thought that was
anyone. We
obvious.
sold 2 players. Like
He
you got
just
the upper
wanted
hand.
you guys to say the reason so he can
The
hear
reason.
it and feel good about it.
No, I just wanted to know what the reason why.
By the way,
I want
by
to
the
speak
way,
intelligently. That's all.
Martin, if you want the link, I'll send you the link, my man. You're always
Oh,
welcome.
I'll
on
get
the
Martin
channel.
on here. I have a
If you want the
question
link-
though. We have the 5th oldest team in the Premier League, and we didn't buy anybody except for one player over the summer. Why are we not allowed to spend money and buy new players when all of our old 30-year-olds have shown in the first
Well, I
half
think
of
you
the
should
season that they have no legs and they're
Who
terrible?
said you're not allowed to spend
No,
money?
you
I think
should buy players. You're allowed to buy players.
Yeah,
but then
absolutely.
Why are we the only team
hold
who
on.
gets critique about it?
Hold on, but then when
Everyone
but
gets
We're
when
critique.
taking out your jealousy that your owners won't do the
No,
same on us.
Kirk, there's a
Why
there's
she? Why
no,
she?
there's a difference. No, there's a
Who
difference.
said anything that they cannot spend money?
There's a difference
Who's
between
going to make it top
Like,
5?
Dio Rattler.
Oh,
I think these are the players we were going to sign in the
That's
summer.
what I thought. That's what we were
We
talking
just bought
about.
him in January because we were so bad.
again, Kelk, there's a difference between pointing out that, oh, you spent a lot of money in January and calling that a critique. Nobody's criticizing, saying, oh, you did. It's like somebody calling me a short African boy. I'm a short African boy. It's not a big deal. It's not. There's no.
I don't get called that a lot, Dio.
No, exactly. It's like me saying Ash wears
You
glasses.
mentioned it.
Ash
I
wears
have gotten
glasses.
that.
You know what I'm saying? It's like it is what it is. You did spend money. You got good players, and I think you guys are in a good position for next season. I think that right now, the rest of this season, these players are going to. You have the best manager in the world. They're going to blend. He's going to blend this team together with the new players that you have. And I think next season you guys you'll be back. I think you'll be back fighting for like at least on all fronts. So hey, it is what it is. We can point that out. It's not a criticism to say you spent money. Everybody's spending money. I had to pull out details yesterday in a super chat to highlight all the clubs that have been spending money in the last 5 years. And you are one of them. We're one of them. Tottenham is one of them. But it's all about the results at the end of the day. Newcastle is on that list as well in the last 5 years. So hey, it is what it is. You have to spend money to be able to win in this league.
And we've been needing to rebuild for a couple of seasons now.
It's okay. It's all right.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'll agree.
But you did kind of sign a lot of players. Like you did sign players like Doku and Savio last summer,
Yeah, they're
and
part of
Matheus
that
Nunes
rebuild.
2 seasons ago, and I can't remember. There was someone else you guys signed
2 seasons ago.
and they,
Last
and
summer,
they
we
weren't. They
literally
were
had no
old
wingers.
players. They were young players. Like these guys weren't like 27, 28, 29. Like they were 21, 20,
My
22.
man is buzzing. My man.
Yeah, but that
came
summer
to
we
the-
literally
he
had
was
no wingers.
buzzing,
That's why we
bro.
bought them. Like literally, Mahrez had left. We had no wingers at the club. So,
So then that is. So that means you guys started the
You
rebuild.
started your rebuild a couple of seasons ago.
Yeah,
You started it
starting
slowly.
now.
You
It
did
started 2 seasons
overhaul.
ago.
And there's not
season
Chelsea.
we needed to do some of these moves
Everybody, let
over
me
the
put it
summer.
this
We
way,
didn't.
Kelk. Everybody's not Chelsea that is going to go out one season and buy 12 players, right? I totally understand. 2 seasons ago, you had Kovacic coming, you had Nunes coming. Last season, you had Savio, you had Doku. It's like you were rebuilding slowly. But then I think the mistake that Pep made is he wanted a small squad, and he really thought that the older players would still be able to hold one more season before the summer. And sadly, they could not, which is why he had to go in January to reinforce. And there's nothing wrong with that. It is what it is. Nobody should be banting anybody over the fact that your club is spending money. If we don't spend any money and we don't win the league because we don't spend money, then it's on us. It's our fault.
More in terms of that getting into the top 5, I would say that I think City will probably be out of Newcastle. I don't know, Aston Villa. If you count Forest and Bournemouth and the rest of them, probably City will be there. The top 3 probably make themselves: Arsenal, Liverpool, and who's the third team?
Forest. But I don't
Oh,
know.
do
if
you
Forest is
think
there.
Forest is automatic?
No,
Not
Yeah,
automatic,
yeah.
but do you think it's
Yeah, I think Forest are going to be automatic.
I don't.
I hope so.
I don't.
okay?
They may
Okay,
wear
so
red, but they're part of the blue cartel.
so it's 4th and 5th really. I think City made really good changes. I think Pep adapted the team really well, and
I think
it's going to be just about.
I think after the top 2, I think the rest of the top 10 are much of a muchness, if you ask me. The boat are all inconsistent. They take points off each other. They'll beat each
Villa lost
other, and
today,
then they'll
so-
lose.
yeah, exactly.
They'll lose to a bottom half.
Villa didn't lose. Villa drew Ipswich.
But clarify that Ipswich went down to 10 men, and then Ipswich.
did.
And then early on,
They did.
My theory of Villa is even when they don't play in this Champions League games, they'll drop points. They've dropped points after every Champions League week this season. I think apart from one, or maybe not one. But I think after that, even City are inconsistent. Do you know what I mean? So it's like I think after the top two, the rest are, they'll take points off each other.
Who's more, in your opinion, looking at the games? Who's more likely? If we're looking, if I know some of us don't bet, right? I don't bet. If you're someone now and you're betting, you're a betting man, and you're giving someone advice to bet on teams that will make top four, like a top five. You're looking at the form, you're looking at how people play now, you're looking at how the coaches, how are everyone doing. Who would you think are closer to making top four? I would say City, Forest.
So yeah, I would say the same. I would get up until this if we stop the season right now and we go to form, Forest definitely because of the form. They are very rarely suffer defeat. And just because City, because of the history that they have finishing in the top four. So
and you think the fifth is up for grabs?
Fifth is totally up for grabs. Fifth is totally up for grabs.
City's inconsistencies this season,
which is why I only count them by their history. I don't count them by their form.
Our run-in is not too bad either.
You said if we go by form, like if we go by strictly by form this season, just by form, I wouldn't put that in top four.
Yeah, that's why I only said the top two, though. That's why I said the top two are guaranteed. I don't think anyone else is not guaranteed apart from the top two.
Forest won today.
No, they lost 2-1 to Fulham, and
they lost 2-1 to Fulham.
They deservedly lost.
We're playing them next.
And they play Newcastle away next. Exactly. That's why I don't think anyone who says Forest is a guarantee. I think it's a bit odd. If City win next week, City go third. And
did you win against Fulham?
For me?
No. Did you win against Fulham?
What does that have to do with anything? The point
I'm gonna answer you now. I'm gonna give you the reference. Did you win against Fulham?
Okay. No, we didn't. And then what?
You didn't, right? So Forest went to Fulham and lost, like every other big team around there.
But he's
also got slapped up 5-0 by Bournemouth. They're 3 points ahead of City. They're 3 points ahead of City. If City win next week and Newcastle win at St. James Park, which most people think they will win, then City goes third.
And the problem with that statement is that Forest went to one of the toughest grounds in the Premier League at the current moment, Fulham.
Yeah.
And narrow loss.
And we lost 2 games at home.
Yeah, 2-1, lost 2-1 to Fulham. I don't think that is an indication of that. That is Forest being inconsistent.
All we're saying is it's not automatic for Forest because the next team they play is Newcastle, who just lost to City.
Is it automatic for you?
No, it's not. I'm saying, hear me out.
You know the funny thing is everything Mo says makes no sense based on the stats because
we are basically
Fulham had
about Forest.
Sorry, 1 second. I didn't watch the game, so if you guys watched the game, tell me something different. But the stats say Fulham had 56% possession, 2.2 XG versus 0.
I watched the game. Fulham, that scoreline it flatters Forest. That scoreline 2-1. It flatters.
Yeah, okay. They had the stats literally say that.
One decent attack and they scored. That was Chris Woods. Fulham battered them. Absolutely.
Andrew, they had 0.4 XG.
Yep.
Fulham had 24 shots to not Forest 8.
Yep.
Fulham had 10 shots on target to Forest's 2. So it's not just we went to Fulham and we destroyed them. We just couldn't finish. That's the only difference.
So are you going to go to Forest and win then?
Whereas Forest went away and got humiliated. There's a difference. And
2-1 is humiliation now.
Based on the performance, and I believe Andrew, if he's saying that the scoreline flattered them,
watch the game himself.
It makes
he
sense.
Said he flatters them. He said that.
I didn't watch the game, bro.
Somebody who
I watched it.
So much.
I watched it.
I'm in a good mood.
He is.
Because Napoli drew. That's why. Because Napoli, he's happy because he's going to top the league. That's why. Napoli bottled it.
You know we're not top in the league. You know we play Juventus tomorrow away from home. We never win. You know that.
Here we go.
Juventus
I know, but so Mo, if you're talking about,
go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
About guarantees for top 4, which is why I said top 4. It's not guaranteed for them if they keep on playing the way that they're playing. I mean, nobody's saying they're not. They've had a good run of form. If the season ends today, if the season ends today, I put them in top 4. But it lost like that to Fulham. I just went and looked at the stats. I didn't really watch the game, and I watched the highlights of it. Bournemouth as well. I looked at the highlights of that. My thing is, if you're at this stage of the season and you start to lose out on this type of games, then you stand a tendency to drop out of top 4. If you look at everybody from 3rd all the way to 8th, it's 38 points up to 43 points. It's like a 5-point gap or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's like 4 or 5 points. You win a game, you go up. You lose a game, you drop down. You win a game, you go up. You lose a game, you drop down. That whole section is so compact that anybody can make it into that top 4, top 5. If they
that's where the entertainment is in the league this year. Honestly, it's decided. Sorry, Arsenal fans, it's decided who's winning the league. But when it comes down to like the drama, I think the drama is going to be within that condensed battle.
9.
Yeah, it's going to be intense, and we're going to be seeing 6-pointers. This is how I looked at this game versus Newcastle. It was a 6-point.
It was a 6-point swing.
There's going to be many of those moving forward because the movement's going to be crazy.
And a lot of these teams are taking points off of each other too.
As I said, because it's funny because Fulham beat Forest 2-1 today, but I remember them a month ago or 6 weeks ago. They lost 4-2 at home to Wolves. This is how mad this league is. Do you know what I mean? So it could easily just flip.
Yeah, it's also interesting that a lot of them don't have Europe too. So
let me ask a question to everyone.
Or cup
on the
anymore,
panel.
or even the
By the
FA
way,
Cup.
everyone on the panel and everyone on the chat.
Good point.
I'm gonna start with Phillip in this question.
Yes, sir.
Who's the club that is failed miserably if they don't make top 5? City, Newcastle, Forest. Looking at the context, Chelsea.
Not to make top 5, City.
City.
Yeah,
City will
absolutely.
be, even with City's poor run in the beginning and the poor recruitment in the summer.
4P winners,
Really?
current reigning champions.
Really?
Premier League.
I think absolutely.
Really? You
Absolutely.
think City?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
On reputation.
I don't even know.
More
It's not even
on
a debate.
More on reputation.
Maybe I don't know the answer, but I was surprised that it's City, for example. It's not. I would expect Forest or Chelsea because where they were in the beginning of the season. Chelsea were second.
Forest are punching above they're punching above their weight.
You can't say a failure for Forest. You just can't. You can't.
Yeah,
you can't
nobody predicted Forest to be here like at this time of the season. Let's be honest.
No, but you have to put context, Tayo, right? That it's where you were in the league, right? If Liverpool,
I hear you, but what I'm saying is with City, the difference is the fact that City has such a bar and such a standard that if they don't make top 5, it just looks really bad. Just think about it. It's like saying they've set such a standard that they have to somehow be in that bracket because
it's not just the standards, Dayo. The funny thing is, it's not just the standards. I know they're making it seem like, injury crisis. Get out of here. Even the players you field on the pitch are better than 90% of the teams you face anyways, or 80% at least of the teams you face anyways. So the fact that you guys would bottle, I don't think you will. I think you will comfortably finish 3rd. But the fact that you might bottle, let's say by most question, top 5, that is insane, especially from this position. If they were 8th or 9th, and we said, okay, what if they bottle top 5? I'll say, well, we've accepted it now. It's their 8th or 9th, but they're freaking 4th. And they'll probably finish 3rd next week or the week after.
Yeah.
The reason why I say Forest, and let me just explain. I think it's Chelsea. The number 1 for me is Chelsea. The reason why I put context into it.
No, we're not expected to get Champions League.
Can I just finish?
This week. We're not expected to, so I'm not having that. Sorry, Mo. Sorry, not going to happen.
The reason why I say Chelsea today is that based on where Chelsea were in the beginning of the season, being second in the form and all the stuff, it's the same conversation I will have with Liverpool if they bottle the league from here. It's where you are. It's where you were in the middle of the season. Expectations in the beginning of the season was Liverpool not to win the league. But because of where they are and where they were all season, I would say bottle it.
So
let me finish that second point.
Yeah.
Let me finish the point, please.
Yeah.
City at some point were completely down and out. At some point, people said, even if City, and if I don't think that it's an achievement for them to make top 5. It's just the norm. But I would say because Chelsea were second at some point, I would say it's the most bottled job if you don't make top 5.
So is your focus because when you asked the question, I thought you meant maybe based on status and reputation.
No,
your emphasis is on the bottling. So
context,
losing your nerve. But then I don't think City have lost their nerve. Like they're in the top 5 now. I don't see how. And Chelsea are 6th, so therefore, how would it be Chelsea bottling it and not
because Chelsea were second until game week 8?
I'll explain to you guys why. Because Mo, I think before the season started, you had them top 4, right? Or
yes,
was that
yes?
Okay, so I think for Mo, his expectations of Chelsea was so high that for him personally, it is like, Chelsea have bottled it. The reality why for me it isn't. I remember when I was on most channels.
You misunderstood.
Months ago in September or October, right? When they were second, on October, and I was on a channel with him and I think David or Ches, I can't remember. And they asked me like, "Oh, are you worried Chelsea will finish above Arsenal?" I said I'm not trying to dig a dig or anything. I said when the fixtures get more difficult later, when the fixtures get congested, I know they have a big squad, but it's still a very inexperienced squad that's just been put together recently. And I said, I think Arsenal will finish 10 plus points ahead of them, and these guys laugh their asses off. They're like, "What are you, 10 points? Who the hell do you think you are?" I'm literally 10 points ahead of them now. So I think because of your expectations, you're like, "Oh yeah, it has to be Chelsea." The reason why your Liverpool thing is different is because, yes, it is a big bottle job if they lose the league, but that's because they have players and quality to get them through the line. The reason why it's not Forest for me, because as good as they've done this season, I don't look at their team and their manager and I'm like, damn, these guys, actually, they have a very good team that they should easily see this out. I still think City have a better team. I still think Chelsea have a better team. I think Newcastle have a better team. So if Forest end up falling out, I would think it's the natural.
You think Newcastle are better than Chelsea as a team?
Than Forest. I think Newcastle have a better team than Forest.
Why does that confuse you? Why does that confuse you, Mo? Why would that be?
I think you have a better starting 11. Now, I'm asking him though. Not a lot of people said that because a lot of Chelsea people thought, including myself, that the team is so good above a lot of other
But you
teams.
guys, and I remember watching this at the beginning of the year, you guys just based it on fancy names. You actually didn't even focus. People were saying Chelsea's squad is better than I can't even be that much offended by it because people were saying Chelsea's squad was better than Liverpool's squad. Champions League winning, Premier League winning Liverpool squad. So I can't even be offended by this. And I'm listening to these shows. All you guys were saying, "Oh, but Nkunku." Oh, but Casado, like just saying these names with no stats, no experience.
Dewsbury Hall.
Yeah,
who's not even
Hall.
playing.
And I'm like, look at his age. And I'm like,
Nobody even tried Dewsbury Hall.
No one said Dewsbury Hall.
I didn't even try that.
By the way, the funny thing is, they spoke about Lavia from the beginning of the season, much better than Rice. And I remember people having conversations saying, shouldn't he play 4-5 games in a row first before we speak about him? And literally this season, he has not played 4-5 games in a row. And people are putting him ahead of Rice. Like, it's just insane. Even the starting 11, I think you guys, maybe not Andrew, but the other Chelsea fans were inflating the starting 11 as well.
You know what's crazy about this? You know what's crazy about this Chelsea squad is, like, beginning of season, I said this when Mo was like, he expects them to be top 4. I said, I think Chelsea have very talented young players in their squad. Very, very talented young players. And from looking from the outside, I don't know if Winter Sufferer agrees with this, but I feel like Chelsea know, and the owners know, that they are not going to challenge for the next 2 seasons. They want to.
They said this week.
They want to try to solidify this team together with these young players that are talented. They've locked them down on 8-9 year contracts, and they hope that out of this whole bunch, there will be a solid 11 that they will have in the next couple of seasons. So this season, them making top 4 is something that is a bottle job because of how much they've spent. If you talk about the amount of money you spent and the quality of the players, even though they're still young. But I still give them context because you have an inexperienced manager and you have an inexperienced squad that you're putting together. So
I said the two after the transfer window, most of you say this a lot of times. I said the big things that, since we're interested right now, the big things that would cap this team was the manager. It had to be the biggest thing that would cap with a question mark. And also after the transfer window, when they didn't get me, a goalkeeper I recognised who's good and another striker who I recognised who is good. Because you can have project players, but the 2 positions I believe you can never have project players in is goalkeeper and striker. And once you have project players in there, then you cap what you can do. And then also by not reinforcing or supporting him with signings in the January transfer window, no matter what people think. Do you know what I mean? Like because
why are you calling out Sesko, bro, for Arsenal? He's a project player. He's gonna come and win in the league next season.
But the difference is Sesko is coming to a team that at least is a little more solid.
It's more established. Yeah, it's more established. Yeah.
It's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke.
But Winter Sufferer, here's the thing. Here's the thing, Winter Sufferer. Like I hear you when you say, why didn't your owners back the manager up again?
No, but I also believe what you said. It's more like Dio, I think what you believe. It's more like an NBA approach. You know, when you get like certain number of drafts, like, and then they'll blossom in. Like the Golden State Warriors, how they just got through the draft. They got Steph, they got Draymond, they got they
traded for Curry.
The other guy, yeah. But and then they go like that. But I don't think you can do that in football. I really don't. I totally agree.
I just wanted to speak to what you said about them not backing up the manager in the winter. You guys already. So you have to look at it again. I know nobody wants to hear this, but
I want to hear.
But you guys have spent about 1.4 billion euros, right? That's a lot of money to spend. You have eight goalkeepers. You're asking them to buy a 9th goalkeeper. You're asking them to you literally have you have a goalkeeper that is on loan that is better than at least 40% of the goalkeepers in the Premier League right now. Kepa is on loan from your club. And why is he on loan and why you keep
Did you know this, Thier? Did you know this, Thier? You know the Nottingham Forest goalkeeper Sells was a Strasbourg player last year.
Nottingham goalkeeper was a Strasbourg player, and they own Strasbourg.
Exactly. That's the thing. They let him go. They let him go on a free.
Yeah. It's crazy for me. I think that is where I can look at Chelsea and criticize them. I think in the management side of things, skill wise, talent wise, I think you have talented players that will eventually come good over the next couple of seasons. And the good thing about it is if they win the Conference League this season, it gives those kids a boost. It gives them confidence. It gives those players, at least we got something out of Europe. Whatever
they have to win. They have to win it.
It'll be a good confidence.
I don't think it matters.
They have to win it.
No, I think look, Mo. Here's one thing that this is why Mikel Arteta gets criticized, and this is why I criticize him. People criticize Mikel because they feel like he's gotten Arsenal to the point where he should have won something.
Yeah.
Right. And the fact that he hasn't won anything with the squad is why he gets criticized. You win one thing, it gives the players something to hold on to. It gives confidence. I mean, this of all people. You've played. It's almost like
not the Conference League.
Wait.
No. So I mean, you might it's like you might say not the Conference League, but then think about it. You bring a bunch of young players.
Because I've seen Man United win the cups and then be shit the next
season.
Don't
you guys say that he did win something? Don't you guys say that Arteta did win something?
Yeah, he's won 1 FA Cup when he first joined the club. But what I mean by winning, I'm saying after building his squad, he's built them and they've challenged twice, 2 seasons in a row. He's built a squad that people look at and say this team should be able to go over the line. And because they haven't been, he's getting criticized for that. And rightly so. He should be criticized for building a squad that everybody presumes is good enough. When you have an 8-point lead and you lose it and you bottle it, when you're literally you have the chance to win certain games last season and you go ahead and you try out a new style and lose the game 2-1, when you hold possession of the game for what am I saying, almost like 70% of the game, and then you allow Aston Villa counter you in the last 20 minutes and score 2 goals, those are the things that I'm criticizing.
Well, you got to give him the context on what he wasn't able to achieve going up against arguably the
I don't. I'm not taking
can we save that to the Arsenal talk and all this stuff? I want to because I have a part that I wanted to touch on after that is done.
Just quickly on the Chelsea thing. I think when I said that it would really boost the players is this. Think about it from this perspective. A new manager, an inexperienced manager in the Premier League, takes a bunch of young players, goes to the Conference League and wins the Conference League. That's for those players in themselves. We've all just come together with this manager who's inexperienced and done this. I think that's a good boost. And if they get the right quality of experienced players next season, one person up front, one person in midfield, one person in back,
that's the multi-million-dollar question.
And I think they'll be good to go.
But I don't think this. I'm not. Listen, I will criticize in game, but the reason I'm not blowing my head off with this is because this is what I believe Chelsea would be doing all season anyway, in terms of being inconsistent and in a top 4 race without the signings I wanted. So because he did so well in most of the first half of the season, because it glazed people's eyes when we were second, going, "Oh, we're definitely top 4 now. We're even in a title race." And I said we're in a title race because I want to be further away from the top 4 race. I never thought we were going to win it, but now it's plateauing into an inconsistent side. It's a problem that he's having to face because he's actually done better in the first half than anyone even predicted. I don't care if you were the most. There's no Chelsea fan that will ever convince me that they saw Maresca doing that well in the first half of the season. There's no one at all on this planet who will ever convince 100%. Me.
Maresca's record is not the best, though.
I want to do these couple of super chats, but before I do them, I want to go on to Phillip and ask about Newcastle. And now with the APT thing changed and Newcastle.
I heard your program today, Mo. Yes, big up Vator, big up Man City.
Making it rain.
Doing it live. Don't worry, Mo. Please
Blue
ask me about
Cartel.
the APT. No, I've got a little.
I'm not going to
bone
ask you
pick.
about the APT. I'm not going to ask you about
Okay, good.
how important it is for
pick.
Newcastle to get Champions League football now. Because you missed on last season, you missed on this season because you didn't qualify. How important it is for Newcastle to get Champions League football? And would you think
Very
that you would change Eddie Howe if you don't make Champions League football?
No, it won't.
No? You don't
No.
think you should go to a bigger and better coach in the next season if he doesn't make top 5?
What makes you say that Eddie Howe isn't a good coach, isn't a better coach?
But there are better coaches in the market than him.
But that's like in anything in life, there are better strikers. But what makes you say that he's not the coach that can take us Champions
I never
League?
said that.
No, I'm asking you because you're saying you've kind of jumped
Wouldn't it
really
be
far
similar
ahead.
to Man City when they let go of Mark Hughes and got Mancini and won the league? Maybe
Some-
you
Yeah,
guys
so
Man
look,
Mancini-
just because Eddie Howe's got blue eyes and blonde hair doesn't mean that he's Mark Hughes, right? They're
But I
very
never-
different people, different careers,
Mark
and
Hughes
they've
never
come from a whole different area. That's really lazy analysis.
Mm.
So
I never said that.
I know you didn't. I think Ash
And,
did.
and
so I'm
even Ash
transferring that.
didn't mean it that way. Ash
Okay.
meant that.
Give me some similarities between Eddie Howe and Mark Hughes' career and how they developed, apart from them having blue eyes and blonde hair.
Philip, I think you're too agitated that you missed the point. I said maybe,
I'm not agitated. I'm just
given
answering
that
your
you guys are
question.
gonna
Just asking a
spend the
question.
money, do you not think it makes sense to take that step up? That's what I said. I didn't say he's like Mark Hughes. I literally said, Man City made that step up. That doesn't mean Mark Hughes was crap. It's just that
No,
they
but it
realized,
was
oh, shit,
it was
he's a very good
after Mark
manager.
Hughes. It was after Mark Hughes plateaued and struggled and didn't show that he could compete amongst the best. That's when they actually
Okay.
went out and got the
Great,
manager.
great
But-
point, Vator. Great point. Don't you think Vator, if Eddie Howe doesn't make top 5 this season, that is his plateau?
Especially after last season's failure.
Exactly.
Hold on. Just one moment. When you say last season was a failure, in terms of what, Ash? Was your
You regressed.
expectations okay?
You
okay.
regressed.
When you say regressed, just remember this because you clearly don't know Newcastle's history.
Tell him.
When the takeover happened, Newcastle were where were we, Ash?
Bottom.
You
no
regressed
one.
from the
We-
previous
let me-
season,
I'll
Philip. You
just
don't have
answer
to
the-
complicate it.
No. I'm making it very easy because your whole argument is to
Yes,
argue.
you
Would
guys
you-
were low. I get
Okay,
it. With my
no,
cash
look, no, Ash, not just low, sir. We were second from bottom. We hadn't won a game in 14 games. No one ever had achieved that. That's our record. Not Derby, not Southampton. No one's ever achieved that loss record. What happened the very next season? There was a 25-point swing, and Eddie got us in the Champions League. I don't know if Arteta's ever managed to do a 25-point swing.
And then what happened the season after that?
Right. So listen to what I'm saying, Ash. There was a 25-point swing that never happens. If that ever happens, it's so rare, it's unbelievable, right? There's a 25-point swing.
Special.
The very next season, tell me about our injury record and what happened, Ash.
Context.
And Tonali.
No.
This
The
is what
very next
context-
season, you
so-
finished 4th, right?
No, sir.
Was not-
After we finished 4th, after the 25-point swing, the previous year we were second from bottom. Second year we're in Champions League is unheard of. It's 25-point swing. That second year, when we're then competing again, we had up to 10 plus players out consistently throughout the year. And we had injuries. We finished on 60 points. We still managed to get to the quarterfinals for the FA Cup and League Cup. Now we're in the third year. This mentality of you've regressed 1 year, you've done well 1 year, regressed 1 year, sack the coach is insane to me. Mm-hmm. I'm surprised that you guys, I'm sure you guys were Arteta out when you finished 8th the second year, right? You were, right? Right. So Eddie Howe, I just think there's a bias towards Eddie Howe because you guys don't know the career of a coach and what he is. Hence the consistent comparisons of Mark Hughes. You don't know the history of Eddie Howe. You don't know the history of Newcastle United. And now you're saying, and then you don't actually rate Newcastle United as a top 6 side, but you give us a top 6 side criteria for success consistently. So when you did the champion, when you did your predictions this year for the Premier League, was Newcastle in your top 4?
In my top 6. No, not in my top 4. In my top 6, though. But not in top 4.
Top 4. Was it in your top 4?
What does that have to do with the conversation? No, they were in the top 4. I want to see.
They won in the top 4. How much did Newcastle spend in the last 3 transfer windows?
So that means it's okay to regress then.
3 billion.
They haven't. No, but he hasn't been armed to have that expectation that everything should be onward and upward, right? So And this is why I had to dap up, because with the APT,
with the APT,
we can
Ash just mentioned changing the
Almo
coach.
was-
though. I don't
well,
know how
the
we got
APT
onto
Newcastle.
Almo was.
I wish you guys
was-
keep him. It's
I don't-
actually a good thing to be
I
honest.
don't know if you saw it, Vator, but today's show of Mo, all he was concerned about, he wasn't concerned about that Man City and Newcastle had lost out on tons of money and sponsorships and ability to buy players, and especially for Newcastle in terms of us missing out on Elliot, having to sell Elliot Anderson, who's one of the best players in the league right now, Minte, who smashed up Arsenal yesterday. Mo's concern was, but we need fair market value for Arsenal. They need to be able to sell their shirts. That'll be my
Minte,
worry.
who smashed up
And I was-
Arsenal yesterday. Minte didn't
Not
play
Arsenal,
again. What?
excuse me. All right, not Arsenal.
he
I
smashed up
misspoke. Chelsea.
Arsenal is
Phillip.
just in your mind.
Phillip, you know
No, we're
what's
talking about Arsenal, Ash. Like we were talking about Arsenal.
Because you said
5
Minte
seconds ago.
smashed Arsenal. I just got confused there. Okay,
no,
continue.
but Phillip, you know what's another thing? All of these rivals are hovering like vultures, all
Right.
trying to say Isak. Oh, when are we gonna
Right.
get Isak? They all
Right.
they don't want these rules in place so that, that everyone can remain competitive and build off. When you guys were in Champions League, it made no sense why I heard so much that you would have to sell to be able to still compete. That's the
Yes.
messed up part. We fought for what the betterment was for football.
And
we moved forward.
And Vator, do you
No,
remember?
we lost money.
Betterment
That's why we
of
And
fought.
football.
Vator, do you know? Did you remember how these rules came about? When they came about? Mo didn't mention it.
Oh,
Listen,
reactionary.
Did you mention it, Mo?
so okay, if we can have this conversation, it has to be back and forth, all right? It has to be you listen, I listen. All right.
Exactly.
Okay, it has to be like this. Okay, here is the problem. I'm gonna ask a question, you answer, and then you can ask a question. Anyone on the panel, anyone here is welcome to engage, right? People in the chat. Do you think Newcastle sponsorship should be equal to Chelsea or Arsenal?
Of course not.
Yes.
Oh no, it should be equal. Yeah, sorry, it should be equal. Yeah. Can you clarify what do you mean it should be equal?
What do you mean?
I don't think so. I think the sponsorship deals should be equal to how it's like YouTube.
Yes.
I don't get the same money for my sponsors. For example, when someone sponsors my show, like Matisse. Hold on, don't shake your head. I'm being logical here.
I'll let you finish.
I am being logical. When someone goes and sponsor Matisse, who has 2,000 people watching him, I don't get the same sponsor. I have 700 people watching me. I don't get the same money. I don't charge the same. Dayo knows this. He is in the media and he knows what I'm talking about. The sponsorship are based on the number of views, how many viewers you have. So Newcastle shouldn't get the sponsorship the same as Man City, for example, a treble winner Man City, the most famous in America, Man City. If the same company are going to sponsor Man City, because Man City has more exposure than Nottingham Forest, should pay more for City. That is just logical. That is logical speaking. I faced this myself. By the way, Dayo, me and Dayo worked on a price for my channel, for example. And Dayo said, here is the scheme. It is how much people charge for this. And it's based on viewership.
So hold on. So basically, it's media buying. Broadcast companies make the most money for football clubs. If most people don't know that this is where they make their money. So here's the question: a Newcastle game is set by the broadcasters. They decide what dates. If you don't know, literally, they decide what the dates, like on what channels it shows. So here in the US, for example, on Peacock, on USA, on the platforms that they show these things, they might show your game on USA, which is not widely
Phillip,
watched.
you're going to get your chance after this.
Which is not widely watched, and then they show the other matches on Peacock, which is widely watched, because they believe that they get more eyes on that and they get more money on that one. So at the end of the day, again, I'm not saying that Newcastle shouldn't get sponsorship, but there should be some level of being able to aggregate how much that sponsorship costs. For example, City cannot say to themselves that our sponsorship costs 200 billion because we have somebody who's going to give us 200 billion. Is that the value of the sponsorship? No, that's not. Because the truth is, you have to make money off that. You have to make money in your ticket sales, your viewership, and your broadcast, right? You have to make that money back. You can't just plug because you have a source. Now, I'm okay with Newcastle and the conglomerates sponsoring themselves within its business. It's okay, but it has to be the media buying, like the going rate.
Okay, before Phillip comes in, what Phillip didn't say that I said this morning on the show is that I think the Premier League discriminated against City and Newcastle because these rules were brought to the Arab owners only. When City won the case, or one part of the case, they literally told the Premier League, you are a corrupt judge. You cannot be the judge of these. We need an independent regulators to actually decide.
That's what the whole thing was about.
Yeah.
To decide what's a fair market value. And I'm all for the. And I'm before you finish, before you come in, and I'm all for this. If there's an independent regulators that will say, yes, Newcastle should have a sponsorship for 40 million, while City should have a 60 million. I'm all for this.
Yeah. So
right?
Mo,
that's the whole point.
Yeah. Mo, that last bit you did mention. You mentioned it like an hour and a half into your show. I know that because I listened to it. You mentioned that after consistent prompting from Newcastle fans, because you spent so much time talking about how it's important for it to be important for Arsenal fans and Chelsea fans. You didn't spend the time talking about how APT rules were put in first place by who? By the same big six clubs who went, and there's an email evidence of it to say, hey, we need to, now that Newcastle, the Arab owners are coming in, we need rules to stop the clubs from the Gulf states, i.e. Newcastle United and Man City, from getting sponsorship deals. You never mentioned that. You never mentioned how this money that was then withheld from Newcastle United meant that we couldn't not only buy players, there's free transfer windows. I know Ash doesn't think it's important, but Newcastle didn't spend free transfer windows on players. We were forced to sell our best young players, Elliot Anderson and Minte. And you got the nerve to say to me regression. We couldn't buy those players. We couldn't buy those players to compete for the Champions League, because who did the Premier League protect? You didn't talk about how there's a systematic conspiracy against Newcastle United, against Man City, by Arsenal, by Chelsea, by Arsenal, by Liverpool, and by Man United. Let
me respond after this.
But you didn't mention that, Mo. Your whole focus of that show for an hour and a half, but you mentioned before you mentioned the discrimination against Arabs was, but it has to be fair, and you create this, as you did not just now with Dio in terms of this straw man argument. But you can't have 200 billion spent on shirts. Who's Newcastle asking for 200 billion? Yeah. We just want to.
Hold on, Dio, please.
We just want a fair shake.
I'm Arab. Ash is Arab, and he lives in the Emirates. I lived in Saudi Arabia most of my youth, 10 years.
You're a proud American. We heard you.
You don't think that I think, in my opinion, it is justified when a country like Saudi Arabia acquire a football club. It is justified for the clubs, for other clubs, and for the Premier League to be scared of the money that can get pumped into the Premier League.
100%.
Why allow them to buy it?
Hold on. And that is the fuck up. They are. I'm happy that Newcastle are bought by Saudi Arabia. I support Newcastle. I want my Arab guys to be in the picture. I'm all about this Arab buying clubs, because I know how Arabs love football and how Arabs want to win instead of the American owners who only care about the money.
Go back to the justified part. Why
the justifying part? I'm going to tell you why. Because if you are not prepared well for something, and it's a mistake, and they saw Saudi Arabia with the royal family. PIF is basically owned by the royal family. Everything is owned by the royal family in Saudi Arabia. With that much money involved and that much money that can be spent without audits, without anything from Saudi Arabia, I'll get scared as well. I'll get scared for inflated sponsorship, for inflated money being pumped into the club. They did it wrong. I agree with you. They did it wrong. I'm going to get scared of that amount of money. It's an astronomical difference. Let Vator talk. I want Vator to respond. It's an astronomical difference between the money that other people can spend and what the Saudis and the Emiratis and the Bahrainis and the Qataris and these guys can spend. These guys have a lot of money. Basically, we say it, they have a lot of money that they can spend and no one can tell them that you spent it wrong, basically. If Mohammed bin Salman or the Qatari prince or the bin Zayed, Al Zayed in Emirates decided to spend that much money to sponsor a club, no one will stop them and no one will tell them you spent it wrong. It will be, we just wanted to spend it because we think it's the right way to spend the money. That is the difference between an American owner who has audits, external and internal, and half the company are in the what is it called, the stock market. And there are people that are asking him, why did you spend that money and how did you spend it? In the Arab world, that doesn't happen. And I know that because I live there. And even the Saudi people in the chat can vouch for me. Can I say something real quick? Right? And you know what? This person is a Saudi person, and he's a viewer. Yes. He's Saudi. He supports Newcastle, if I'm not mistaken. And he's from Saudi. And he knows exactly what I'm talking about. The market will be ruined.
So Mo, it was also not in isolation to football alone. You need to realize this, that the Saudis, and it's not a bad thing that they're doing, they got into golf. It became a big deal. Right around the same time that they acquired Newcastle, they got into boxing. it became
Formula
a big deal.
One.
They got into Formula One. It became a big deal. Like, so they want to host the World Cup. They started their own league, and all of a sudden, they look at young players.
They're going to host the World Cup.
Yeah, they are going to
Yeah,
host it.
It's already done.
Just correction. They didn't start their own league. They started pumping more money into it.
Yeah,
The leagues existed.
So
I want, by the way, after this, I want Vator and please, Philip,
when
please.
when you see what they've done in other sports, of course, in isolation for us that love football, we're like, look, man, if they come in here, they do this here through Newcastle, we're done for. So you put rules in place. Now, the way we went about it, maybe the way Arsenal, United, and everybody went about putting those rules in place, probably wrong, unfair.
Probably.
I agree with you. No, because I don't.
Definitely wrong. It's discriminatory.
Unlawful was the word I remember.
Hold on. When I say
By the American owners too.
Conspiracy. Oh yeah, by the American owners.
Because I haven't read how the process. I'm using the word probably. It is wrong to discriminate, but you have to put certain rules in place. Why do you think we have media buying when it comes to the advertising world? Why do you think we have media buying? Media buying is the rate at which you pay for either prime time or a different time on networks. There's a reason that those sponsorships have value at that rate. You put a rate to it so that people don't just come in and say, you know what, I'm just going to launder money and I'm just going to put this amount of money on this ad on this channel at this time and nobody can check it. There's got to be rules to check it. The way we went about it wrong, I agree with you, but they still have to put rules in place to keep it in check.
There were rules.
Yeah. Before Philip comes in, I'm gonna let Philip. I'm not gonna say anything before Philip and Vator now will respond, guys. But I will have time for the people that get involved in the conversation. If you guys, there's some couple of people that send super chats, I will put them in the right time on the show. But I will let Vator and Philip now respond. Thank you so much.
And I think Roman was the one that showed them the way. They learned from Roman Abramovich. The minute they saw what Roman Abramovich did and how he spent money and how he did a lot of things, I think once they got rid of him, they're like, "Yo, it is time." Look, honestly, yeah, because the things that
let Vator respond now, please.
So
the funny thing is, rules were already in place. Rules were already in place, and they implemented more rules to discriminate and to make it more difficult. So I love the fear mongering. I love hearing that. Oh, it's going to be this bad. It's going to be this inflated. It's going to be this much millions. Well, how about we see it first and then put rules in place? How about we see amended rules? Because we've seen that many times. But many rivals, many of the Red Cartel, Mo tries to be impartial, but they're always projecting the worst, already saying that City and Newcastle are going to be spending this. There haven't been any signs of these maxed overinflated sponsorships. Even if you want to go back with regards to my club and CAS and UEFA, it was all determined to be a fair market value. But everybody wants to spew, everyone wants to make everyone fearful and believe that it's going to be an inflated, terrible market moving forward. Now I get what Mo wants to say.
Oh, wow. So Formula One, golf, all the other sports.
We're talking about
where they all got involved.
Allow him to finish, Dayo.
Let him finish.
With regards to football, is the world I'm living in. If you want to bring out all these other examples, that's for you. But I'm talking about football, and we haven't seen it. But we keep want to project.
We have seen it in PSG. We have seen it with PSG. What do you mean?
PSG. Okay, in Ligue 1, they didn't have the rules of what we have. So we've already had rules in place, and I'm bringing.
No, but they still have FFP rules. FFP rules apply to all the leagues in Europe.
Okay. Yeah, they
were found guilty of inflating their Qatar sponsorship deal.
Okay, so if you have that example, and you're now projecting that I'm going to do it, and that Phillip is going to do it, out of what? Out of consistency of someone else?
Because another team that is owned by a state did it and got found guilty. What do you mean? I don't think City were guilty, by the way. I actually think City
this is the problem. I speak, and then you want to keep interrupting, putting in. There's other Americans.
I just corrected a fact incorrectly.
Mo said, "You speak, we wait. We wait, you speak." How does that? You just keep on interrupting the guy.
I mean, I haven't really given any input on this at all. So if I'm correcting a mistake,
Vator, go ahead. It's a fantastic conversation. Vator, go ahead, please.
All right. The point I'm trying to make is one example of making an error of cheating does not apply to everyone moving forward. If American makes an error on one side, are you going to say all future American owners, we need to put rules in place to prevent this? This is where I'm just looking for some consistency. And with regards to these deals, with regards to the sponsorship, Mo brought up the example in terms of my channel. I'm able to have this many views. If someone wants to come in and sponsor, well, it's different with regards to sport and the whole thing with regards to an event and momentum. when I spoke about Newcastle, and I thought it was a disservice for them not being able to strengthen when they were in Champions League, because these are moments that fans can never get back. A sponsorship wants to be visible of something magical. So I may want to invest more than Ford because I see that this is something that Newcastle has never experienced before, and I want everyone's eyeballs to see this for the first time. So I may spend more. It's blanketed. I should get the same as Chelsea. I should get the same as United, or I have less attendance. I have less views. No, it doesn't work that way. This is sport, and these are moments that you sometimes spend more for to be a part of. And I believe moving forward, we will get rules that properly balance it, but it hasn't been right moving forward.
We can't have this conversation, Vator. No. Let's move something else.
I want now, Philip. It's Phillip time. Guys, it is Phillip time, please.
No,
Phillip,
in terms, same with Vator. I know in terms of everything that was said, everything is geared about protecting the other clubs. And I heard the channel for an hour and a half today, Mo, and yes, he said it right at the end. But your whole focus, as is the focus of most of the media, is to protect everybody else from Man City and from Newcastle, and just to keep their legacy and everything that they're doing going forward. Which nobody talked about the cost that it has upon us the last 3.5 years. Us losing players, us losing money, us losing our position in the leagues, us having to sell our best players. And in fact, whenever Newcastle go through the downturn, the same conversations happen. Oh, are those owners going to stay? They might as well buy Liverpool and those other clubs. They'll get where they want to get faster. Forget those little clubs in Newcastle, those clubs with no purpose, Mo, right? But when it's us, the whole focus of these APT rules and finances and sponsorship deals is these conversations are always geared around protecting them. And it's been us that have been hurt. Well, even in terms of these multi-club ownership deals, the fear that Newcastle will get a player from Saudi Arabia that's really worth 50 million, we're getting for 10 million. Newcastle only sold ASM to Saudi Arabia for a Saudi Arabian club for 20 million. In fact, your clubs have benefited from Newcastle. Liverpool have sold clubs to Saudi Arabia. Chelsea have sold clubs to Saudi Arabia. Manchester United have sold clubs. Your clubs have benefited from Newcastle's takeover. But you guys never mention that. You never, ever mention that. It's always the other side, the fear-mongering, and how Newcastle and those clubs should stay where they are. So I just wanted to make that put that out there.
I think this wasn't directly at Newcastle. These are the owners of Newcastle. This is where you guys choose to just involve. Now, sadly, they bought your club. That's the truth. Like the owners.
It's not sad for us.
Hold on.
It's not sadly at all. It's not sadly at all. I'm happy.
Your word choice today is terrible, Dial.
You can say
word choice really.
Sadly for you, coming from the point of view of, oh, you want Newcastle to stay where they are. No, your owners, right? The owners of Newcastle have shown in other sports all over the world that this is what they do. So coming to buy Newcastle automatically, the FA is like, look, everybody else like we have to put something in place. I'm not saying that they did it the right way. The way they went about it is wrong.
They panicked. They actually
the right way.
Yeah, listen. No, the right way would have been to sit down and say, listen, we see what you're doing, but when you come here, you're going to have to do fair market value. We're going to add a few more rules. Sit down with Newcastle, sit down with everybody, have an agreement as what it should be, like any normal human beings would do in business, is to sit down and say, okay, well, we're all running a business here. We know you guys can afford to come in and pump money, but these are the rules as we got. Because I'll give you a typical example. You're talking about, Newcastle should be able to get whatever they want. Like if Newcastle says our t-shirt sponsorship is 1 billion, just because the owners have a company that can pay that billion, is it worth $1 billion? Are you going to make that billion back in 2-3 years?
I don't know why you're shaking your head, Vader, when you insinuated that. Yes, sometimes they could sponsor because of the feeling that this will get.
I didn't say $1 billion. I didn't say something that no, okay. God, that's the point. That's why I'm shaking my head.
Really, the number is throwing Vader off.
You're talking about
Dio's example is.
You're talking about. Sorry, Ash. 1 second, please. Sorry. You're talking about.
Go ahead.
I want to be part of what Newcastle is about to do. That's not what sponsoring is about. It's about making money. You pump money to make money. Stop, pause. You pump money to make money. The reason these rules are there is so that these clubs don't pump so much. Owners have a certain amount of money that they personally can even loan the club and at a certain rate. that they can loan their
With
clubs
interest.
with interest, yeah, but at a certain rate. They can't just say, I'm going to put
100%
100 million.
clubs.
I'm going to put 100 million into Arsenal and I want 50% APR. You can't do that because you're the owner. There are rules that guide even the owner as to how high a percentage they can get for their interest in how much they put out of their personal money into a club. Why are these rules there? So that the clubs don't take all this money pumped into them, eventually not be able to make it back. And if that owner walks away, guess what? That club is in debt. That club is out.
I
So
need
the
to
funny
do the
thing is
super
City
chat,
has
guys. I
thrived
need to
under
do.
the straight
There's other ways
I don't
around
know
that.
I'm
how
gonna
it
do the
I
super
don't
chat.
know
You're
how
not
it
concerned about Newcastle going under.
Handcuffing them
Dayo,
is not the only
don't be
I'm not concerned about
disingenuous.
I'm
You
not
guys aren't
concerned
concerned about Newcastle going
concerned
under.
about Newcastle.
You're
I'm
concerned
concerned
about
about the league.
Newcastle competing.
I'm concerned about
You're
the league.
concerned.
I'm
That's the
concerned
whole
about
problem.
facts.
You're concerned
Exactly.
about Newcastle
Phillip,
competing, not
facts.
about going under. Don't
They're
be
just,
I am
they're
not.
just
I don't,
afraid.
I'm
I'm
not either, by the way. I don't
Guys,
care if
I need
Newcastle
to take
compete or
over
not.
a
I
little
think
bit.
the rules
I
have to be
actually
fair,
think
so
it's
that's fine.
very good if Newcastle compete. This is
Yeah,
why
I
I
agree.
said many times, I think all clubs should be able to spend the same, and there should be a salary cap that all clubs follow.
No,
Arsenal
No.
should have the
Yeah.
same salary cap as Man City, as
Agreed.
Newcastle. And if
And
Newcastle want to
Ipswich.
sign Haaland, they
It's
should
not
be
the
allowed
NBA.
to.
It's not the
Right?
NBA. It's not like-
that would actually
He's
lead to
thinking of
better
the
competition.
NFL.
No, it wouldn't.
See,
That
these
would
guys
be
try
even
to
better.
make it
Ways
seem
around
like
it, too.
keep it fair. No, this is the funny. This is the hypocrisy. They say
See the
let's keep
difference,
it fair.
Phillip? I
Let's keep it
want
fair.
you
That's
to
not
be
fair.
able to. I want
That is
you
fair.
to
You
be
think
able
that's
to.
fair?
not fair.
No,
I
I
don't
don't
think
think
that's
that's
fair at all.
fair.
Okay, hold on. Let me just talk now, guys. Let me talk. I don't care about if the salary cap is this way or that way. All I want is for Newcastle, Man City, Arsenal, Forest, Southampton, all of them have the same cap one way or the other.
No.
Maybe not salary, maybe
not fair.
transfer market. That's basically the definition
That's
of
not
fair.
fair. That's
It
the
all
That is
depends
opposite
on
of
your
definition
fair.
of
influence,
fair.
too.
That's the total opposite of
Otherwise,
fair.
all the good players are
How-
going to
how
stay.
is that?
Man
Okay,
City
so
deserve to have a better
how is
sponsorship.
that? Hold on, let me.
So Man City deserve to have a better sponsorship than Newcastle because they're 4P winners. They don't. We shouldn't be spending the same. That's what I'm saying to you. I'm not saying that we should be able to have anything we want. Man City. I'll use Man City. I won't use Arsenal because it's going to just set people on fire. Man
Yes.
City should have a better sponsorship than Newcastle because they're
Okay.
4P winners, Champions League winners.
Okay.
Why should they? Why every year after every year
How does
we
that
both
change
get the
the
same money to spend?
Let him finish
What's the
because
point?
I want
What's
the
point?
question.
What's the
I
point?
want the
Wait,
question. Go ahead.
Where's the reward? Where's the reward for actually winning then in your world, Mo? There's no reward for it. No club, no one should be rewarded for failure, for not winning, for not coming second or third. You get different prizes. Hence why you're
Shut it,
first,
United.
second, and third.
Sponsorship is
What
not
you're-
prices,
what
though.
you're
Sponsorship is not
proposing-
prices. Let's not
What
do
you're
this. Let's not do
proposing,
this.
I'll finish my sentence, Dayo.
Don't you dare
Dayo, let him land.
Dayo, let him
I'm
land.
going to
Dayo,
finish my
let him
sentence.
land.
I'm
Please.
going to finish
Dayo,
my sentence. It
let
doesn't
him
make
land.
you right by speaking over somebody. Doing the opposite by making everything equal for everybody, you make it unequal for the people who actually work hard and get to the top in the first place. You take away their legs, so you can't make it the same for everybody. That's my whole point.
Yes, but
Hold on.
no, no.
That's a very fair enough point. I hear actually your point. It's a very logical point that you want to reward the people that win more. But that is what sponsorship is. That's why Man City get a higher sponsorship than Arsenal and Liverpool because they have more watched. By the way, it is documented that Man City over the last 2 years have been watched more in the US. That's why Man City sponsors pay more now to sponsor the football club because they're watched more because there's more exposure, right? But how can we make it fair for teams that don't win, like Southampton, to get the money to be able to spend them by players to compete? There has to be a way. I don't know that way. I am not an expert. I'm not an expert. There has to be a
The
way.
team that finished last in the Premier League last season got 100 million for finishing last. How much? What else do you want?
What does that have to do?
I think it's more
You
than
said
that.
how
It's like
to make it fair.
120, isn't it?
They got 120 million. How much? When you say I want
But
to
they
make it
still
fair,
can't. But they can't spend like
You
Man
can't
City
spend it. What's
because
the
they
point?
don't have the same money as Man City.
so hold on. The team that finishes last should be given the same money as Man City.
Arsenal, no, not
No,
the
I
same
said
money.
no. I said
What he was
no.
talking about, he mentioned some things that you chose to just ignore. He talked about like in the transfer window, for example, maybe there should be caps for like when you transfer players on like every club should be able to don't spend more than this amount of money, or maybe there should be just some kind of methodology. Now, if you win, you can go get all the sponsorship you want as a winner. You can say, listen, I won the Champions League, I won the Premier League. My shirt sponsor is going to be 300 million because I get most of the eyes anyways, and people are going to pay for that. At a point, Barcelona was doing free UNICEF sponsorship on their t-shirts, on their jerseys. They weren't collecting money from UNICEF because they had the money at the time. Now that they need the money, they can go and do what they need to do as Barcelona. The point is simple. There needs to be things in place to be able to give balance to every other team to be able to compete. Now, if you talk about being able to compete, just because you now have sponsorship and you can rake in 500 million in 3 years on a shirt sponsorship, right? Great deal. Because you're winners, because you're this, you're that. You spend 500 million and buy every other player, but other clubs cannot afford to buy this player, so they're not going to compete. That's why we said it's going to become like PSG eventually in League One. That's what this is. This is what they're trying to avoid. We're saying at the end of the day, even the sponsorship, just like in media, there is regulations as regards to buying. I will not go and pay because it's primetime TV, triple the price, because I still have to make money as a business. And let me say this to you again, no matter how many things you win, 4P, treble, this is for us to banter ourselves. It doesn't change the price of Mercedes in the market. The market value is the market value with Mercedes-Benz, whether you're a 4P winner or a 10P winner. The sponsorship that Mercedes will bring to your jersey is not going to exceed their market value at the end of the day. So let's not sit here and just, you know.
I need to do the super chats now, guys, because they are related to what we're saying. It's actually a very constructive conversation, actually. I like these conversations as long as they're respectful, and I love them. What happened to the actual proper footy discourse? Was that enough for you then? Now too many streams to focus on edgy hot takes. Let's talk tactics, performances, coaching. It started with tactics and it ended up here. But big up Diallo, thank you so much. Randy here is saying, sub for the blonde hair and blue. I commented it for me. The guy missed the entire point. Eddie Howe is better than Ancelotti. That was the whole point. That was the whole point. Is Eddie Howe is not better than Ancelotti. My point. Okay, so to go back to the original point.
Is that what you're saying?
The whole point is the whole point. The whole point, Philip, was isn't it better for Newcastle if Eddie Howe doesn't make top 5 to go get a better coach? For example, you go get, if Pep Guardiola becomes available, would you say, should we trade Eddie Howe?
Are we allowed to get Pep Guardiola? Because apparently,
it's an example. It's an example.
We're not that level. We don't have that value of the club. So
it's an example.
Sponsorship deals don't line up. It won't be competitive. And maybe it might be bad because Man City and Newcastle both from the Gulf State and that, and you know, you never know.
Who do you believe is better than Eddie Howe in the world right now? Seriously, Phil.
Okay, so
no, hold on.
Nobody can do a 25-point swing. So
hold on.
Did Arteta do that?
I was about to say,
Conte did that.
Can you please let me run the stream, guys? Can you let me run the stream?
Did Arteta beat Eddie Howe this season? Did he score a goal against Eddie Howe this season? How many
and
shots
we're
on
still
target
going to
against
finish
Eddie Howe
miles
this
above
season?
you. So what is
Did
that end?
Did he knock you out
What is that end
this season?
So
are we going to season?
Wait. And we're still going to finish at least 10-15 points above you. Where is that end?
Okay. You think
Are we going to flutter? Are you going to bring trophies now? Because I can also talk trophies.
Well, I'll tell you what, how about you stop putting
Philip, you're one of the few teams I can brag about trophies with.
Okay, can we not speak about each other?
How about that?
You don't want to go there.
Can we stop? Philip, who do you think in the world is better than Eddie Howe at the current moment?
A lot of managers.
Okay. Do you think it's worth it? Do you think it's worth? No. In the world that you can get, for
managers that can be better.
Okay. Do you think it's better to upgrade on Eddie Howe?
On what you mean upgrade. I personally don't know Eddie Howe's ceiling. I don't know how anybody can know what Eddie Howe's ceiling is.
We don't know. I don't know.
He came from Bournemouth. He did back-to-back promotions. Arteta don't know about those business. Nope. He did back-to-back promotions. He got a team out of relegation. He did 25-point swings. He went into the Champions League. He smashed PSG 4-1. He's gone into the second League Cup final in the last 3 years. And I'm here having to answer to Mo why Newcastle.
Why you are answering to me? No, I am having a conversation.
I'm just saying.
I don't know why
I'm just saying.
Another final as well.
And another final. I don't know. What else do you want me to say? I don't know.
It's your opinion. It's your opinion. I believe it's the same. I believe to be honest with you, the energy you have is the same energy that me talking to some Arsenal fans when they're like, we don't think anyone can be better than Arteta.
That's not true.
We don't think anyone.
No, because you're not listening
I have
more.
spoken to some Arsenal. Okay, go ahead. Explain.
Because you know Arteta. But whenever I hear your show, when I hear you speak, and I hear Ash speak today, you don't know even the career of Eddie Howe. You don't know the career. You don't know where Newcastle have come from. I'm having to explain to you the history of where we're coming from in the first place. You are judging us based on a Big Six club that's been in the qualified for Champions Leagues for the last 9-10 years, and you're giving that kind of assessment. When I have to consistently point out to you the highlights of what Eddie Howe has done. There are points in this season which you guys wouldn't know about, where people will question whether Eddie Howe should go. My allegiance isn't to Eddie Howe. My allegiance is to Newcastle United. My point being is Eddie Howe continues to perform in a way where I believe he's of more benefit to Newcastle United than he is of not of benefit to Newcastle United. Arsenal fans have a different vibe altogether with Arteta. They're like the person that's been broken by many exes, and they put all that weight of past failures on Arteta. And so that's what they put those expectations. They put expectations of he has to win the Champions League and the Premier League this season or he's out, when he's never won the Champions League or the Premier League.
No Arsenal fan
Oh God.
No Arsenal fan said he has to win the Premier League and Champions League.
Oh, come on, man. Is this childish now?
Ridiculous.
Everybody knows what I'm saying. Everybody knows what I'm saying.
Guys.
Everybody knows what I'm saying.
Phillip.
We literally cannot rebuttal anything with him.
A lot of people said that Arteta has to win, including Dio. He has to win the Premier League or the Champions League.
Yeah,
no one said
okay, fine. I'm not saying he has to do a double.
Okay. I get what's point. I just wanted to clarify this. I know what you mean. I do the same. Sometimes we say exaggerate a little bit. I get what you're saying, but yes.
I'm not saying he has to win the double. Fine.
Yeah,
he has to.
But one of them, Dio himself. Dio himself said that, by the way.
Or a Premier League. All right. That's what they were saying. Putting those type of expectations on him when it doesn't have to be there.
Let me ask you.
I need to, guys.
No, Dio. Most gotta move on.
I really need to.
It's about the Arsenal thing.
No. Come on.
Dio, I need to. We're gonna go to Arsenal, but I need to finish. We haven't even said a word about Arsenal yet.
Yeah.
The Newcastle fan has their energy for Arsenal. I don't know why Phillip. I don't know, Phillip. You can answer. I don't know why. Do you dislike Arsenal?
No, why would I don't know. Okay, let me ask you a question more. Why do you ask that question?
Because I feel like you always mention Arsenal as the example, not Chelsea, not Man United.
I did mention Chelsea today. I mentioned Liverpool today and mentioned Man United today. Okay, do you want to talk? Okay, we'll talk. Okay, so
no, I'm asking. By the way, Phillip, if one of my guests, you're my guest here, and I appreciate you.
So
says,
why the focus is on Arsenal?
Let me finish that point. If you say I don't, it's either I will debate you or I will believe you right away. And because you said you don't hate Arsenal, I'll just believe you. That is thing. I promise you.
I think maybe because it's Arsenal, because I'm speaking to two Arsenal.
Because the viewer,
so Ash said, for instance, that Eddie Howe and Mark Hughes. So that's why the focus is now for me to talk about Eddie Howe and make it relatable to him. I'm talking to him about Arteta. If Andrew was talking to me and start saying the same thing, I'll compare him to Maresca.
Fair enough. Yes,
that's all I can do.
I have a good speaker.
I think there's a lot lost in translation when he again the comparison to Mark Hughes is not their careers. It's just the fact that nobody's saying he's a bad manager. The question was, would you take a better manager right now at Newcastle than Eddie Howe? Like if the opportunity arose, if your owner said, hey, Eddie Howe, great job, well done, thank you for everything that you have done for us, I would take a better manager at Arsenal. I even said this season, and I think Ash could back me up on this, and Mo has heard me say this many times, if Mikel Arteta had gone ahead and won a cup double, I still want to change my manager. I said that this season. I said even if he wins me the Premier League this season, I will pay out his contract and get a better manager.
Wow.
I said that. Ash, I've signed on him, not because I think he cannot go anymore, but at the end of the day, sometimes if you're looking at the club that you love so much, you want certain things you want better, and you look out there, you see better manager. You're like, you know what? A better manager with some better players, I think we can do better. We give ourselves a better chance of winning more. Do you think if Pep Guardiola is available tomorrow for me to snag him away from City, I will not take him in a heartbeat? I will. I will. If I own, I've said this before. Hold on 1 second. I said this in January. I said if I was the owner of Arsenal and I could go and spend in January the way I wanted to spend, I would have walked up to Newcastle and I walked up to Alexander Isak and said, here's 150 million pounds. Isak, here's 350,000 a week. Come. I would literally have done that if I were the owner of Arsenal. but I'm not the owner of Arsenal. I don't run my business that way. But I'm letting you know that if it's better out there,
so
I will go for better.
Okay, so not
That's
everything
funny.
in football is 2 plus
Funny
2.
example.
Tottenham believed that by hiring Jose Marino, they can get Chelsea results. They didn't get that. They believe by hiring Conte, they could get Chelsea results. It didn't work for them. I take the best part of your argument.
Did you use Tottenham as an example?
You see, now I think that's okay, but you understand the overall theme.
I understand what you say. I understand
You
what you're saying.
understand what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
I understand.
Right. So
I hear you, Phil, and I'm just saying, like, it's just a simple question for me. Like, I would take better arises right now. It's like me saying you're driving a Porsche and someone says to you, I will give you a one-of-a-kind Lamborghini Diablo 1980s, 1968, the only one ever made with gold-plated door handles, blah, blah. And you say, well, no, I like my Porsche. I'm not going to take a better car. I'll take the faster one. I mean, I give myself a better chance of winning the race with a more advanced, a better coach.
But it depends on where you are. Because if you're already winning the race and you think you're doing well, I'm not saying that. Like again, my main point is Newcastle's success. If it's Eddie Howe or if it's who's
sorry to interrupt. I've got to jump off. Cheers, Mo.
Take
care.
If it's Maresca,
Tough
whoever,
loss, man. Tough loss.
may then come.
Can I do the list of super chats before? Well, that's absolutely one of the best conversations I've had on this channel. Game week 16, Chelsea were on 34 points and Arsenal 30. 9 weeks later, Arsenal are 10 points clear. Chelsea have only gained 8 points out of 27. That is a massive failure. Arsenal was 23 out of 27, by the way. It doesn't feel like it. And I hear you. 20, actually, which is we're going to go to Arsenal. I actually think Igar raised that point that we're actually fooled because Arsenal are second. But in reality, Arsenal have not lost in 20 games or something like this. In 20 games, which is something that people didn't think about. But because Arsenal are second, and because of the injuries, people are not taking it lightly. The Arsenal are second. So, but I hear what you're saying, Twinny. Thank you so much. My man, Spartacus is here. If you lock the spending power of a side to the revenue, you don't allow clubs to grow. Madrid, Barca, Arsenal, Liverpool, and United had outside money pumped into in the past. That's why they are big now. And I hear that. And that was raised on the football terrace the other day, I think by someone, by Hamza or something.
Newcastle never got to put money in.
That Newcastle were not allowed to put the money that Arsenal or Liverpool were allowed to put the money in the 70s, for example, to actually, if you read the history, Liverpool were allowed to pump money when they were bought by someone that they spent a lot of money and then they went and dominated. And I hear that. All I'm saying is,
so did Arsenal in the 30s.
Everyone should be allowed to spend, but there should be limits. And I'm going to repeat that because of the Arabs, because of the Saudis and the Emiratis. I'm just going to say,
if you had inflation with what Arsenal spent in the 30s, if you had inflation till today, it's not 50 million.
Can I say something? That for the people that say Chelsea and Roman Abramovich, the peak of Roman Abramovich's net worth is 21 billion. The peak that was in 2021. The net worth of the royal family of Saudi Arabia is 1.320 trillion.
The PIF is 320. Sorry,
the PIF is 320. The net worth of the Saudi royal family, Allah give them more. Like, I'm not here giving them an evil eye. It's 1.4 trillion. So just stating that.
People don't know what. Do you know how many zeros are in trillion?
Wait. You are just stating that for what?
I'm gonna tell you. Tell you.
Yes.
If they allow, if there's no rule, we're not gonna restart.
No. But I love how Mo wants to just put that. Let me just
because
throw that ratio in there.
Protecting his big six.
If you have,
he's got to cater to the red cartel.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
When Mo talks about the viewers and getting better sponsorship, he's got to cater to the red cartel. Those are the numbers. Those are the viewership.
Okay, guys.
Red cartel.
Anyway, Jenny, big up Jenny for the super. Smash the likes, people. This is a great panel. Wallahi, this panel has to repeat itself. It's fucking phenomenal. I love it. Big up, people. And I like it that we had a heated conversation and it's very respectful, actually. I like it. I love it. We're all adults, big guys here. Apart from Kelk, of course.
Whoa! Adding new rules. That's fired.
No, I'm not gonna come on, you are disrespect. adding new rules due to changing dynamics is legit, absolutely, but the rules were wrong.
What's the dynamics? I wonder.
Actually,
What's the
I just
dynamics?
right? I have to say one thing.
I wonder what the dynamics is.
I have to say one thing, actually.
Tone, big up
The
tone.
Premier League themselves admitted that they panicked and put the rules wrong. That
There's
is in the
email
three rules.
documentation, Mo. There are emails where they're like, "We need to do something.
We need to do something. We need to stop."
And there was
these
that
guys.
letter. There was that
Yeah.
letter from Spurs,
Big up,
Liverpool,
big up. Thank you.
Arsenal, and United.
Guys,
Is that the person that says, "I murdered someone"? Oh no, but I was scared. I was scared. No.
Yeah.
You knew what you was doing. We knew what you was doing.
guys, listen to Luke. We have over 700 people in the chat. Also, Toon Tactics, Vator Games, Ash Talks Football, banter on the pitch in the chat in the description. Go and support the guys. Phillip does consistent talk about Newcastle. So if you're a Newcastle fan, and you must follow Phillip, to be honest, on Toon Tactics. Absolutely great content. As always, also on the Football Terrace, always does content to reviews and previews for the Newcastle games. Vator as well has his own shows, and they are absolutely great. He goes on TJ, on Staffy TV as well. It's absolutely fantastic. Ashraf talks ball as well with the watch-alongs and all the stuff. So go and support the guys. And listen to Luke. We cannot be 700 people here and we don't have 300 likes. Hit that like button, people. Samaz here is saying, Vator, stop talking like politician and stop waffling. Big up, my man.
He always does. He always speaks like a politician.
Inc is saying, Mo, that would mean historic clubs would dominate. That is the opposite of what I want. I actually want fair competition. I don't know how.
Salary caps.
Equals historic
It has to
clubs
be yours
dominate.
has to do it too.
Equals historic clubs dominate. That's what.
Absolutely not. If you don't believe me, you don't believe me, Phillip. If you don't believe me, you don't believe me.
You
I've stated that many times.
Mo, you know what I think? I think
Can I finish the next ones, please? And Matthew here says City bought Haaland for 50 million, apparently. And
It's a release clause.
Release clause.
And
Everybody knows that.
let me finish. Let me read the super chats, guys, and you can respond to Matthew. And they think there should be no rules to stop owners that don't care about the money to spend.
That's not what
Man
I
City
say.
fans can respond to this.
That's not what I say. I don't say that there should not be rules. I'm just saying don't. It's like implementing rules before a problem arises. You're already saying that we're going to be getting these inflated sponsorships before they're there. So let's have a review after the fact.
So your proposal is let the problem happen first,
then make the rules.
then make
No.
the let the no let me correct.
No,
let me
no,
phrase it
no.
correctly.
Okay,
Let
go
the
ahead.
predicted problem happen first, and then make the revision. Makes sense.
Yeah, I'm saying
sense.
don't assume.
Don't make any sense, to be honest.
No, hold on, let me say this. No,
Don't
let me address it, Dio.
Let him address it. Dio, let him address it. Let him address it.
Let me see.
Don't lock your
Don't assume where I'm coming from. Don't assume who I'm associated with to be making a crime before I actually do it. Is my point. So
What if there's presidents from another club?
Minority
with similar
Report.
background.
That movie.
what if there's
Yeah.
presidents in the Prem?
What if
past?
not in the
That
Prem,
would be
in
the
foot?
thing.
Because when Dio brought up other
No.
sports, you said football, which I agree. Fair enough.
APT is the Prem, is it not, or is it UEFA?
No, it's just
Yes.
Prem.
It's just
Okay,
Prem.
so
Yes,
I'm
but the
talking about
problem-
the Prem. No.
But
We're not going
Vator,
there.
the
No.
problem that the APT or the problem that APT could cause is something that happened with another football club
But
in
your
another
prob-
league.
Your problem
So it's
actually,
natural.
you don't
It's not
understand. that
natural.
It's already been proven in court that they didn't
So-
put the rules in there to stop a problem. They put their rules to stop a competition from
Yes.
Newcastle
That's
and Man
that's
City.
different.
That's the
Phillip,
criminal
I'm not-
element.
I'm not
That's
arguing
why
about
the
that. That
rules
is
were put
but
there.
that's
Yeah,
what
the
I'm
rules are
addressing.
We're
illegal.
not
That's
arguing about
what
that. I
Vator's
agree. I
addressing.
agree.
That's
That's
what
what I'm
Vator's
guys,
addressing,
guys.
though, guys.
That's what Vator's trying to address.
You
That's
guys are
what he's trying to
projecting
say.
your own thoughts. I'm not
Actually,
addressing
I
that.
have. Actually, there is a super chat that is actually great. E-Ink saying that rule needs to be legal, first of all.
Yeah, you
Which is why-
you can't have separate rules for the Premier League and UK
Basically,
law because they
yes.
operate in UK. You have to
Basically-
follow UK law.
That by itself just dismantles the whole argument. The rules have to be legal first. So
That's what
yeah,
yesterday was.
I hear what you're
So
saying.
They were unlawful. They violated
Jen-
competition
Phillip-
laws.
Philip is right about why the rules are being set. Like when Spain got mad when PSG took Neymar, but that took the market price out of control. So he's saying you're right, but also Spain got mad because PSG took Neymar and that market was out of control. So it's
What happened after Neymar purchased? Were there other 2 million signings? After
yeah,
Neymar?
Kylian Mbappe,
Yes, that same summer, Kylian Mbappe went for like
After that.
150.
200 million, literally
That
Kylian
same
Mbappe
summer.
to
It was
Monaco,
what,
same
same
summer.
summer.
And now we got two examples at PSG, and you guys want rules over in the Prem.
No. And Coutinho afterwards, and Dembele afterwards. There's many. Stop doing that nonsense. Lukaku went for like 90 million. Lukaku went for 90 million.
To the Prem.
In the Prem,
that's
yes.
just
He went to Man United.
So wait.
Come on.
200, no, 200, 150 million is
Never
wrong.
gonna speak football again.
We're talking about at the time that it happened, though. You have to put in context what players are going for. Vator. Did you start watching football last year? Okay, well that's the year.
It seems like it. I don't know.
Are we insulting each other? Because I'll do that, Dio. You want to do that?
I'm asking because you're acting surprised. Like,
No, we're not, guys. We're not going
No,
there.
I'll do
Actually,
that.
We're
You
not
want
going
to do
there.
that.
We're not going there.
Right,
at all.
7 million.
Dio and Vator,
no
we're not doing that. We're not going into
It
that.
means you're losing the argument, Dio.
No.
Yeah,
you have to do that.
I'm saying no.
When
What
you have
did
to
I
insult
not-
somebody, it means you're losing the argument.
I didn't insult. I said, did you just start watching football to realize that 90 million for Lukaku at the time we're talking about was a lot of money? The market was out of all sorts at that time. The fact that you're sitting here acting surprised we all know, I agree that yes, the reason they did it was to stop competition. We've agreed to that point. That point is mute now. We're not talking about the APT itself, the sponsorship issue, which we're saying we have seen other scenarios in other
No, but it's not mute.
Hold on. I've agreed to the fact that what they did was to stop competition and they were wrong for it. And City has won the case. Fair enough. Now let's talk about the sponsorship issue itself as an issue. Forget that.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
We're not going there again. We're gonna go there again. We're gonna go there again.
I don't want to do all that.
No, not going there
Dio,
again.
Arsenal won. We can talk about Arsenal quickly before we lose.
We're not going there again. I'm gonna let Vator respond before, because he was the talk was directed to him, so he has the right to respond. Go ahead, Vator.
So I wanted to talk about there's transfers and there's sponsorships. Well, we won't go down the conversation because you guys wanted to talk about you talked about Neymar, which is signing, transfers, and then we were talking about APT, which are sponsorships. In my belief, totally separate. And if we're going to start conversations by saying, when did you start watching football? This conversation is going to go left. So let's not do that moving forward.
Vader, I'm pretty sure that was tongue-in-cheek from him. I don't think he meant it in an insulting way, bro. Come on,
How
Nick.
do you know that?
No, because I did say
because I stream with Dio for a long time.
Because me, Vator, and Dio and Ash, we stream a lot together. It doesn't mean it this way.
No. I got no problem. I can do the little digs, taking a little digs and kind of the convo. I just said, hey, if you want to do that, we'll do that, which I haven't been doing.
Before I said, did you just start watching football? I specifically said Lukaku for 90 million at the time we were talking about. At that time, was a ridiculous amount. I'm saying, did you just of course, I know you've been watching football for a long time. So for you to act surprised about Lukaku's price back then and be like,
no, I wasn't acting surprised about Lukaku. I was acting surprised when you guys want to talk about that, how that shifted the whole market and then it's been messed up since. We have example.
Declan Rice is not a 100 million player, but we paid 100 million for him. He is not.
Caicedo is not 115.
He's not 105.
Jack is not 100 million.
Yes, it's changed.
I want to finish this argument on one thing. Just one question to everyone, starting from Kelk, actually, before I do the rest of the super chat. Do you believe there should be rules about fair market value for sponsorship, Kelk?
Yes, within reason.
Yes, thank you. Vator?
Independent review, I'll say yes.
Okay. Phillip? I'll say yes as well.
There already are rules.
All right, great. Dio and Ash, I know that you won that. But let me ask Dio and Ash something, though. Do you guys agree that the Premier League should not be the party that is responsible for determining what is fair market value? Because they are governed
100%.
by the clubs that are in the Premier League and it benefits. Fantastic.
It should never.
So at the end, we went a full circle and we all agreed.
It should never be the Premier League. It should be independent people. Like, I don't even understand how the Premier League with the clubs themselves are the ones who are in this thing. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, if I was a billionaire, if I were the world's richest man right now, I'd buy the bloody FA and put an independent panel there to run the entire thing and get rid of all the clubs. You're just clubs.
Nothing we've said, guys, is coming out of a salty area or anything. Let me tell you guys, just to show it, I don't think City are guilty of the 115. It isn't, Philip, because I'm one of the people who've been saying I don't think City are guilty. If anyone who read the cast reports of the FFP, it's very similar to what the Premier League are charging them for. And they already won the FFP case because they were accused of inflating the Etisalat and Etihad deals. PSG were found guilty. City were not found guilty of that, which is why I've actually been saying City, I don't think will be found guilty, and rightly so. But there has to be a balance in a conversation when we say having APT sometimes does raise questions, because what Mo said is true. We live in these countries and we know if you get like a family member to sponsor you and pay like $1 billion out of the pocket, which other companies cannot do, obviously it's normal for other clubs to say that is not fair, which is why I'm saying what actually does make sense and is fair, which is what Mo suggested, and I agree with, and you reacted badly to it, Philip, is salary caps. I know you said this is not the NBA. So what if it's like the NBA? The good thing about the NBA, look at the people who watch the NBA who support the freaking Cavs or support who support OKC. They get to see their clubs compete when 3-4 years ago they probably didn't see that happening.
That's a bad example.
That's a horrible example.
It's not a bad thing.
It is.
It's not a bad thing.
Because they can go over the salary cap. They just have to pay a luxury tax.
Yeah, but you get what I mean.
We'll go back to what the problem is in the first place.
Yes, actually, you're right.
We'll go
back to who can pay that luxury tax.
Yeah, my point is,
look at the LA Dodgers in baseball. They just pay money in
guys,
but I want to move on. We're really going back in circles.
If there was salary caps, I guarantee you a lot of the players that moved from Dortmund to Bayern Munich in 2011, 2012, 2013, maybe not all, some of them would have moved anyways. Majority of them probably wouldn't have moved at the time because the financial incentive also wasn't there. And the Bundesliga would have been a lot more competitive versus one team ripping open the one competition they have. And then they get another competition and they rip them open again. And they get another competition and they rip them open again.
The point is, there was already laws in place.
NFL,
yeah, go ahead, Philip. I want to hear what Philip has to say.
The problem is, you keep on mentioning APTs. The problem is, and Vator and I have said it, there was already laws in place. The problem for the Premier League, and actually, if there's an email that Man City lawyers produced,
yeah, we saw the
clubs were not happy with those and said we got to stop specifically clubs from the Gulf state. We have to create laws, which became a letter to show that these clubs cannot compete with us. What you guys are arguing are totally separate from what we're saying. Sponsorship deals for £5 billion, this, that, and the other. And my main gripe, if everybody was annoyed if I sounded annoyed, was that your entire focus has been protecting clubs in the Big Six, Liverpool and Man United and Arsenal. But the clubs who have actually been systematically targeted in this situation and harmed by the situation, you've got nothing to say for it. Yeah. All this energy, all this argument has been about protecting your legacies.
They won't see it.
But you won't see that. And it's
guys, because
we're talking about things
of money coming into the league.
We've lost Minte, we've lost Elliot Anderson, we've lost money, we've lost positions in the league. But you've got nothing to say for it. We've actually lost out.
I need to move on from this conversation, please.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do another show about this, Mo. We're gonna have to do.
Yeah, we really have to do another show about this.
Philip, you said all of that.
Yeah, by the way, sorry. One quick comment. I just read a comment. I just read a comment which is so funny. Ipswich are desperate to protect the top six. That just tells you everything you need to know. I guess Ipswich really want to protect. I don't know if Ipswich actually
spend money.
Okay. Anyway, let me do this super chat. Zayn here is saying Chelsea have outspent Arsenal, Liverpool in the last 4 years. Yet Chelsea's revenue is less than them. The whole thing about fair spending is what incompetent owners like Kroenkes and FSG want to hide behind. Fair enough. Maybe that is the case. Maybe we need to educate ourselves. Eddie Howe is doing really a good job with Newcastle based on how the club is spending. If he gets any, let's wait until the man fails before we talk shit. Fair enough, Jay. That is fair enough. But even if Inzaghi is doing well and I get a better... If Pep Guardiola is available tomorrow, and even if Inzaghi wins the league this season,
back to this insanity
I will take Pep Guardiola at Inter. There is a difference between normal currency inflation and transfer market inflation because of a snowball effect. That's because of the Neymar thing. So yeah, that Neymar thing inflated the market. By the way, it is the same as Zidane's transfer back from Juventus, if people remember that.
Wait. Hold on. Sorry. Neymar's current or Neymar transfer is equal to Zidane's with Zidane inflation?
No, Zidane back in the days went for an astronomical amount that actually triggered a big chain reaction of big transfers that happened at that time. That time people
yeah. So it'd be interesting to see when the market has either matched or has reset. Or are we assuming,
within the year
now that everything is out of
what happened within the year?
whack?
No, from Zidane, it took about 5, 6, 7 years until the transfer market equaled the inflation that happened during that time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is it'd be interesting to see what the proper value
I
is
think
today.
now the market now has kind of got neutralized from the Neymar now. I think because of the inflation.
Because the funny thing, because the funny thing is, and I don't want to do the full finance thing, but more money keeps coming into the sport. You guys realize this, right? More sponsors, more viewership, TV deals, everything is getting more expensive. That's why players are also able to command more because there is more money in the sport. But we'll move.
Big up Tony, hey Mo, big up Kelk and Vator, two top blues. That's Tony, guys, blue tone, absolutely top man. He's gonna be on the channel soon. Jay here is saying the reason why it's relevant. I don't know what CIA.
Central Intelligence Agenda.
No, but that's Vator. He means that's called Vator. Barcelona put a buyout. What they thought that no club would pay, and PSG said, "Hold my beer." That's exactly what happened at that time. Which is he gonna see Lamine Yamal? That's why now they put $1 billion. By the way, Barcelona put $1 billion now on Gavi and Pedri. Every club is self-interested. Every club is self-interested, even Newcastle, but not Mo. I want the best for the Premier League because I want the best competition.
Yesterday, you wanted the best for Arsenal, that's for sure.
By the way, I definitely agree with this. Like, no matter where we agree or disagree, 100% is everyone is looking out for themselves. Like, unfortunately,
I like these small digs, but I'm not like touchy about. I'm not touchy about them at all. I hear it. City were accused of sponsorships and payments coming from companies with no websites. Just correction, Randy. Aston Villa, Southampton. If I'm not mistaken, some other companies were found sponsored by betting companies that had no websites. And some of them were proven right, some of them were proven wrong. Employees, products, or even locations. Eddie Howe is bigger than Ancelotti, Randy. Big up, Randy. Eddie Howe is bigger than Ancelotti. I'm not sure if there is anyone interested in talking about Arsenal and Ethan Nwaneri.
That game was on at 4:30 in the morning. I was not watching that. Sorry.
Big result. I saw this. Yeah, I saw the second half.
I saw the whole game. I just have to say, I just have to say, there is a lot of negativity about Arsenal at the current moment. It's massive. This win can kickstart this season, in my opinion. And Hussam disagreed with me. I believe if they go past Nottingham Forest in the next game, they shithouse their way into a corner, whatever shit they can do.
Next game is West Ham.
Sorry, the game after West Ham. I'm expecting you to beat West Ham at home. Have some shame. Like, have some shame. West Ham are bad.
We lost there last season, but I know.
You're playing at home.
I agree with
you. But at the same time, Mo, I like all this. You're playing at home, and then you don't give context to it, and you don't want to talk about everything. I mean, nobody expected. To be honest, today nobody was really thinking we were going to win this game. Let's not come here and act like, because as soon as Kai Havertz got injured, hold on. As soon as Kai Havertz got,
who'd you play?
Let me finish.
Who'd you play so the audience knows? Who were you playing today?
Vator, let me finish.
Okay. Let me finish.
The fact that it is Leicester is not the issue. It was the fact that we had an injury to Kai Havertz. We had majority of our players who we rate and nobody else rates out of the team. And everybody said, you're going to be playing Raheem Sterling. You're going to be playing Trossard up front, who's a super sub and not a 90-minute player. You guys are going to struggle. You're going to probably tie the game. I heard all kinds of things before this game came up. Of course, we are expected to beat them. There's a big difference between expectation and what you guys were saying. And the minute we had gotten to the 60th minute, 65th minute, and Arsenal had not scored, did you go on Twitter and see what people were saying?
No,
you did not. I'm the one who has to read that because I'm the Arsenal fan. Until we scored, and then it was, become
the game. Watch the game.
Why do you tune into
Twitter? Watch the game.
I was watching the game live. I was up. She's 4:30. I was 6 in the morning here, so I was already up watching it at 6 this morning. But my point is very simple. Everybody expected it to be a very difficult game for us, which of course it's supposed to be because we don't have our front line. That's a given. The only thing that was going to save us was our defense. I knew that we were going to try and hold them out and not concede goals, which was good, but I didn't know where the goals were going to come from. Now, this Mikel Merino thing that worked today may not work tomorrow, but it worked today. And I have to give kudos to Mikel Arteta for actually trying something different and figuring out a way to win. Because at the end of the day, I made this statement at the beginning of the season. You refuse to buy players. The owners refuse to buy players. You refuse to strengthen the team again in January. You have laid your bed. You will lie in it. I don't want no excuses. Mo, you've heard me say this. That I have no excuse for Mikel Arteta this season. figure out a way to win every game. Whatever you do,
every game.
Yeah, that's the only listen. That's the only way he's getting off the hook with me because he's chosen. Again, Vator, if you don't buy players in the summer and you don't strengthen in January and you now have injuries, like you have to factor in injuries at the beginning of your season. You have to say to yourself, my players might get injured. I need to have a squad. You can't just go into the season hoping that your players are going to be fit the entire season. If they get injured, what do? You don't have anybody off the bench. I'm looking at the bench today and I'm asking myself, who are we going to bring? Who are we going to bring in? Like, who did we have? Nobody. But fine, he found a way.
Nobody. The person that came off the bench gave you the 2 goals.
Again, he found a way, which I'm giving him kudos for. As a manager, you sat there, you looked at it, and you said, well, Easton is pinging balls into the box. We need a top player up there who probably can, who can hit the ball in the back of the net. I hope he doesn't miss it. You go out there, do what we've trained, what we've seen all week. I don't know what he's seen in training, but it worked. My point is, this is a short-term gap solution for a major problem that we have at the club, which is a striker issue. We're not going to fix that striker issue until the summer. So for me, he has to figure out a way to win every game for me to give him any kind of slack. Because
So Dio, were you being extra? Like, were you just exaggerating? Or you don't truly believe he needs to win every game?
No. I said as again, Vator. I need you to hear me to understand what.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking the question for some clarity.
For me, Dio.
Yeah, for you.
The whole Arsenal fan base.
Yeah,
for me,
for you.
Mikel Arteta has to find a way to win every game for me to give him any kind of slack.
Kind of slack, he needs to win every game for the remainder of the season.
He basically means, Vader, that he wants him to win every game to win the Premier League. Because if we don't do that, we're not winning the Premier League.
He's not winning the league.
I don't think we're winning the Premier League anyways. I don't think this result changes.
I don't think we are to. But my point is, he has laid his bed. He's got to lie in it.
He doesn't make the player decisions.
I know he doesn't, but excuse me, at the same time,
some people say he does.
Hold on, listen.
Wait, what player decisions do you mean, Vader? I don't understand. What do you mean?
So what if he wins every game and he doesn't win the league still?
Then that's when I can cut him some slack and say, you know what? You had
right.
That's what I meant by slack. That's what I said.
All right, then.
Yeah, no, Mo. That's what I mean.
I'm just trying to understand, Vader. What do you mean he doesn't make play decisions? Like, you mean the decisions on the pitch or selecting the players and getting the
no, like signing players, transfers. He doesn't do that.
I remember in the beginning, I said a little bit of negativity.
Say he does, and he has too much control.
He is the manager and he does decide the players that come in. What do you mean?
Yeah, Mikel Arteta said in the summer that he needed a striker. He said that in the summer, but he didn't get a striker in the summer.
Yeah, but isn't that who supports him?
I get. My point is, he could have made a point to say, listen, a striker is more important than you giving me a Raheem Sterling or a Mikel Merino or whoever. Like, I need it. Like, you can make your point as a manager. So when I say you've made your bed and you laid in it, it's simply saying, okay, I've accepted what leadership has told me. Executives have said, oh, they don't want to spend money and extra money to get a striker, and you've accepted it, which means that you believe that you can go on and win the league with these crop of players. So my point is, if you've made up your mind and said, I can win the league with these crop of players, and you're at this point with injuries and you have games coming, I will not give you any excuse. You have to find a way to win the games. Now, if you win every game and you don't win the league, I'll say, well done. You found a way to win every game, even with all your injuries. It is what it is. Now you better go and buy the striker that you need, and then you have an excuse because we're not letting him go. I know that Arsenal is not letting him go right now. He's not leaving Arsenal. So I'm not going to sit here and fool myself and talk about the if, buts, and maybes. But as for today's game, he was dynamic in the way he changed the game in the second half. In the first half, we looked crap. We didn't look like we were going to do anything, even though we dominated the ball a bit more than they did. Ethan looked amazing today again, as usual, struck the bar, did very well for a 17-year-old. I mean, the fact that we have to say his age all the time is insane.
We don't. You guys just need
I'm talking about me as an Arsenal fan, not you.
Are you having these digs,
yeah, and then Vader will say we can do dig for the. You do this all the time, Vader.
I'm talking.
I said.
I actually predicted.
We don't say his age.
He does these things like all the time, bro. I love you.
We don't say his age. No, but
I said I'm talking about me. I didn't say you. I didn't say the fact that rival fans talk about it. No, I said the fact that we as Arsenal fans have to actually keep bringing up his age. Remind ourselves that we have a 17-year-old who's literally holding us down in the front line with nobody else. Literally, Raheem Sterling today was Deadwood. Trossard was Deadwood. We literally played with just that kid on the right-hand side. Up until Mikel Merino, he got the assist again.
Look, I think for me, I mean, I predicted a 2-0 win, so I'm glad it happened. I also predicted Sterling will have such a shit game, and we were talking about it in Sarge. We were talking about it in Sarge channel yesterday, and I was saying, because we were discussing the Merino rumors of him playing up top. And I said, I promise you, I would rather have Merino up top than Sterling on the wings. And they were laughing. Well, Saad, I think, was laughing. The others were not. And it came to be true because he came off and the guy who came on actually and played up top ended up scoring. This guy should not play a single minute for us from here until the end of the season. I think right now we just need to survive somehow the next 4 games, sorry.
Before Saka comes back, huh?
Yeah, before the international break, and then Martinelli and Saka probably will come back around that time. So at least our attack looks a lot better.
Saka back this season.
I'll admit.
No, I don't think it is. If he's running and he's on grass, I don't think it's crazy. The initial timeline, anyways, was 3 months, so it's not like they're bringing him way before time. And Arteta was asked about this, and he said it's different bringing a player within 3 days when the timeline is 10 days, because then that you're rushing them up by 70%, versus bringing a player 1 week before when it's like 3 months. So you're rushing them only by like 10% or 5% or whatever it is. I don't think he'll rush him anyways. I think he'll just bring him mid-March, which is
I think if Saka comes back early and gets injured again, I think that would be the end of Mikel Arteta Arsenal, actually.
I don't think
be careful with that injury.
Manager sacked. He wants everybody sacked.
I don't know. Have you just met me, Phillip? Have you just met me? Have you just met me? Welcome to Footy Judge Mo. I support Inter Milan. We sack manager after 5 games and 8 games. Welcome to my world.
How long has Saka been injured for now? How long?
2 months. 2 months.
He's been injured for 2 months. If he comes back at the end of March, like mid-March, end of March, that's for 3 months. That was what was specific. That's what they said.
I don't know why people are saying he'll be rushed. I don't understand why. Like,
at the beginning of the
delicate injury.
Watch Kelk lose her shit. If Rodri is being played this season for Manchester City,
I will lose my fucking mind.
Kelk, you have to understand this.
But we have more to play for this season, Kelk, than City, right?
We have Champions League. If they go past him.
Hold on. The medical team looked at him.
They're not getting past Real Madrid. Stop it.
And they said 90 days.
No,
they said 2 months, you'll be back. The medical team gave the 3 month specification. This is not what Saka himself gave himself. So it's not a rush. If the medical team thought it'll be 4 months that he needs, they would have said 4 months, 5 months. They literally said 3 months. And so if he's back in 3 months and he's playing, I wouldn't see it as him being rushed back. It's just left to me. I would still just ease him into the game. Since Ethan is playing very well on that side, I will rotate them generally, both of them, so that he doesn't get too many minutes in his leg. He doesn't get hurt.
And look, I don't think we'll win the Champions League. I think we have a very, probably 5% chance, but we still have a chance, which is why, and we won't have that chance without Saka. So we need Saka to be back for the Champions League game.
And let's be honest, the fan base are gonna rip into Arteta either way. Whether he nurses him back or rushes him back, you guys, not you guys, but a portion of the Arsenal fan base will kill him either way. They'll kill him. Why isn't he playing him? Or why did he play him too soon if he's not looking good? So
that happens in every club. That happens in every club.
Yeah,
I guess we'll see.
The same way they lost their heads this week when the news came out that he might play Mikel Merino up front. And everybody said, can you imagine? He wants to play Kieran Tierney left wing and play Mikel Merino up front. We ended that game with a left back in left wing, a midfielder as our top striker. That's how we ended that game.
Can I ask one?
That's how much
one
injuries Arsenal has.
Okay, you know what? Go ahead. If Phillip wants to go.
My bad. Yeah, my bad.
It's been a pleasure. Real pleasure.
Tactics in the description, guys. Go and support Phillip. Absolutely brilliant content.
Incredible panel.
Fantastic conversation, to be honest. Absolutely fantastic.
Appreciate it. Take care, guys.
Let's get Phillip to 1,000 subscribers, everybody. Let's go get him to 1,000 subscribers.
No, but
yes.
I've got a small channel dial. How can I get 1,000? Let's go.
Let's
Take
get
it.
Maybe be his APT, guys. Let's give him some APT sponsorships. Come on.
Go ahead, Vator.
I only watched the second half. Would you say that Leicester played like 19th in the league, or did they look better?
They played like garbage. They played like garbage.
We
were going to win that game.
No. That's not true. Leicester could have been 1-0 in the first half with a clear.
That doesn't mean anything. You can play against who's last in the league? Is it Southampton? You can play against Southampton. Southampton had chances against Liverpool and against City and against Arsenal. That doesn't mean shit. Like a lot of times we were attacking them.
What are you expecting from Leicester? Are you expecting Leicester to be like
midfielders? What I expect is
Leicester played today like Leicester. Nothing special.
Exactly.
That's what he said. Now they didn't play super well. Like
they didn't play bad. They didn't play good. They played Leicester City football. Simple shit. And then couple of crosses. Someone in the 18. That's it, basically.
So there's no added Arsenal confidence for the next game because.
So hold on. Ethan could have scored 2 goals as well. He struck the bar one time and he had another shot saved by the goalkeeper. So this whole Leicester could have scored. It could have easily been 4-1. with all the noise we're making, Leicester's chances. Leicester had 1 shot on goal in the whole of the second half. If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, to answer your question, Vader, yeah, I don't think it gives confidence for the next game.
Okay, all right.
It does, Vator. Actually, I disagree with you.
I don't think it does.
In my opinion, we can agree to disagree. I believe actually the 2 goals from Merino will galvanize Arsenal team for the next game, actually. Because of the way Arsenal struggled, apart from Nwaneri in the first half and even in the second half before Merino, I believe that this win will galvanize the Arsenal team. That's my opinion. Because when you win when you're not playing well, I think it galvanizes you. And Arsenal, it's not that Arsenal are not playing well with their best players. Arsenal are not playing well because they have nobody, basically. Basically, that's what happened. But anyway.
In the attack, not nobody. But you had nobody in the attack.
Yeah, like, I mean, in the attack. Your defense was solid today.
And midfield as well was solid.
Yeah. Odegaard. But listen, people, I want to thank everybody that tuned in. We didn't get to speak a lot about Arsenal. I have a show tomorrow with Nobbins where we actually discuss Man City more and Arsenal and the league in general. And that'll be a great show. Make sure to support Ashraf Talks Football, of course, in the description. Big up Ashraf for joining us. It's not your regular time on the channel, but we'll see you in the midweek. Of course, big up Vator for joining us. Absolutely magnificent. Vator Games, who stayed for the 2 hours with me. Absolutely fantastic. I'm so happy that you did. Banter on the pitch, Mr. Dio, always here for us. Appreciate him so much. Great Dio, of course, having you here. And of course, the always great Kelkster, who is here with us, who is regularly on the channel. This will be the last time you'll see Kelkster for a bit. But
why are you going on your honeymoon?
No, yes. I'm going to the end of the world.
Where?
Going.
Yeah, I'm going to Antarctica.
What did you
basically?
What did I want to?
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
my birthday
is that where Foden has been all season? Oh, sorry.
I'm gonna go look for him. I'm sending out a search party.
Well, do me a favor, right? When you see the edge of the flat Earth, please let me know. Take a picture.
Yeah, for the flat earthers.
Yeah, just take a picture of the edge of the flat earth and send it to me.
Big up, Kelkster. Always great to have you here. Fantastic appearance. Thank you so much for joining. I want to thank everyone. Don't go anywhere. This will take you to Hussam. Well, actually, there will be a more conversation about the football, which is Martin. He's going to say Arsenal will win the league. Big up everybody that is here. Thank you for everyone that subscribed. Make sure to hit that like button. I will see you guys soon. And we're out of here, people. I'll be honest.